That's Rich Manella, now in his third season as head coach of the Mountaineers of Dallas. After a long stretch as the head coach at King's College. In fact, he and Frank Sheptock very, very close because of the relationships that were established on the college football fields. In fact, they met 14 different times when Frank was the head coach at Wilkes and Rich was the head coach at King's College. Manella's first year at Dallas, the Mountaineers went 6-5. Last year, struggled with a 2-9 record, but as I mentioned earlier, they finished the season strong, and as it went along, they got better, especially the last two games, and if the opener this season is any indication, they are going to be a much improved football team this year, coming off a 54-7 win over Coughlin last week. Here is the starting lineup that Dallas will employ tonight offensively. Jack Farrell is the tight end. He wears number 81. He is a 6'2", 180-pound sophomore. Had one reception for 9 yards in that opening game. The left tackle is a senior. He's number 63, Jim Hunter. He's 6'2", 230 pounds. Josh Ballera is the left guard, number 76. He is 6'2", 260 pounds, a sophomore. Dalton Simpson starts at center. He is a senior, 5'10", 270 pounds. Taylor Balesta is the right guard. He is 6 foot, 200 pounds, a sophomore. The right tackle is number 66, Michael Anderson, 6'2", 280 pounds, a junior. So it's a good size offensive line, tackle to tackle. The lightest player, Taylor Balesta, at 220 pounds. At a wide receiver, another sophomore starter, Luke Delgadio. He wears number 23. He's 6'1", 160 pounds. Caught a 26-yard touchdown pass against Coughlin in the opener. Caught another pass, 2 for 60 altogether in that opening game. The starting quarterback is another sophomore, number 7, Michael Starbuck. He is 5'9", 160 pounds. Didn't play against Berwick a year ago, but played as the season progressed. Ended up with 546 passing yards against Coughlin last week, 6 for 11, 116 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The tailback, we told you about him earlier, number 42, Lenny Kelly. 5'9", 170-pound sophomore, 18 carries, 206 yards, and 4 touchdowns rushing last week. Also returned an interception for a touchdown, so an outstanding opening to the season by Lenny Kelly. We mentioned last year against Hazleton area, he had 211 yards, but that was on 36 carries. Last week he got his 206 on half that amount. The fullback, lead number 13, David Schuster. He is a senior, 5'8", 180 pounds. Rushed 5 times for 13 yards a week ago and had 2 receptions for 38 yards. Chris Murray is a wide receiver. He wears number 2. He was a tight end a year ago. Murray's a 6 foot, 190-pound senior. Probably their best defender as a linebacker on the other side of the football. Had 19 receptions to lead the team a year ago, had 1 in the opener. That is a starting lineup offensively for the Mountaineers of Dallas under Rich Manella in his third season as head coach. They come in with that 1-0 record. For the Bulldogs, offensively, the tight end, number 11, Joe Norse. He is 6'3", 185 pounds, a senior. The left tackle, number 72, Ben Peck, 6'3", 251, a junior. Tom Monaco is the only returning full-time starter on that offensive front from last season. He wears number 73. He is 6'3", 284 pounds, a senior. Noah Craig is a sophomore, got his first varsity start last week. He wears number 79. He is a 6 foot, 246 pounder. Not to be confused with Noah Craig, the linebacker. No relation. Noah Craig, the linebacker, is a senior. The right guard is number 71, Mike Zalutko. And what a thrilling start to his varsity career. Got the start for the first time, 6'1", 264-pound sophomore, and was responsible for Berwick's first touchdown. They got down to the 5-yard line of Hazleton area. Owen Shoemaker got the call, fumbled into the end zone, and Zalutko recovered for the score. At the right tackle for Berwick, number 70, Chase Struther. He is 6'3", 294 pounds, a senior. Berwick will use a whole host of wide receivers, led by Damon Beckhorn. He wears number 14. He is 6 foot, 181 pounds, a senior. against Hazleton area, 4 catches for 53 yards and a touchdown. And that touchdown was huge. Came in the third quarter. Hazleton area had just completed an 80-yard touchdown drive to pull to within 7. Berwick marches right down the field, and Alex Force hits David Beckhorn, 31 yards for the score. And that ended up to be the margin of victory, 14 points. Alex Force, his first start of his high school career came last week at Hazleton area. Of course, he's replacing Jared Marshman, who suffered the unfortunate injury. We're happy to report that Jared's getting around without that walking boot and rehabbing, but right now it's Alex Force's team to run, and he ran it very well last week. 6'2", 162-pound junior, 10 for 16 in passing, 94 yards, a touchdown, and no interceptions. At the running backs, number 8, Evan Klinger. He is 5'10", 175 pounds, a senior. 14 carries for 82 yards and a touchdown last week. The other running back is Owen Shoemaker, number 39. 5'9", 191-pound junior. 15 carries, 49 yards last week. When Berwick does employ a fullback, they have a couple of candidates. Number 42, Eric Montez, a 6'1", 195-pound sophomore, and Joey Lynn, number 44, a 5'11", 216-pound junior. That is the starting lineup. Offensively for the Bulldogs under Frank Sheptock in his second season as head coach, they are coming off that opening game win over Hazleton area by a score of 24-10. So it's the Bulldogs against the Mountaineers. Keys to tonight's game, Andy Ligney.
Well, the key, Jim, for Berwick offensively is pretty much the same key that I think Dallas has offensively. Established a north-south running game. Both defenses are very strong on the perimeter. They don't let you get around them. So you have to pretty much power it up inside. Berwick would like to do that. The running backs came through very well last week. We saw the strong running of Evan Klinger and Owen Shoemaker. Now, sometimes it's a counter step, but it's sort of an inside the tackle type of lane they try to establish, and they established them pretty well. How consistent they'll be with it against perhaps a stronger defense, we'll see. How committed they are to staying with it. I think Frank Sheptock would like to establish the physical dominance and get that running game going. And they'll game plan it and then adjust as the game goes. It's going to come down to the linemen, and I thought they had a solid game. Ben Peck at tackle along with Shea Struthers, Tom Monaco, and touchdown Mike Zalutko, and Noah Craig, the center. I thought all did a fine job in getting into their blocks and creating seams. I think they'll have a little bit more of a challenge against a very fast, quick, physically tough type of a Dallas defense. I think the passing game will be there once you establish the run. I was impressed with Alex Forrest last week. I thought he looked very poised in the pocket, made good decisions as receivers found openings. I think you'll find some mismatches in the secondary as well. I think if they go with the play action, if they establish it, some of that misdirection may throw some players out of place. In that secondary, it's 3 sophomores. And there's also going to be some size mismatches. They have a 140-pound corner. They have a 145-pound safety. Berwick can sort of muscle that and use its height advantages. And if they get people moving the wrong way, use some of its speed to its advantage. So I think Berwick will have the balanced game plan, but they really do want to establish that north-south running game inside the tackles as soon as they can. Flipping around defensively, Berwick has to stop the inside running game of Lenny Kelly. Nothing too fancy. There might be a little fancy look. Quarterback is a great ball handler. Michael Starbuck is very adept at his bootleg actions and carrying out his fakes. So with the eye, sometimes you widen with him and you force only the inside people to make the plays. But you have to stop Lenny Kelly, and he likes running between the tackles. Dallas last week against Coughlin was able to establish the gaps for him to get by the first level. And then in the second level, by the time linebackers and safeties and corners came up, he has the head of steam and he can break tackles back there. 206 yards for the sophomore, and that wasn't a career best. He had a better game last year during his freshman year. So he's the real thing. They're going to try to establish him, and Berwick's going to have to stop him. And they stopped Hazelton's Adrian Otero last week, who came in with a similar resume. Might be a little more challenging here with Lenny Kelly, who's off to such a great start. I think those are the keys. I think both teams, you have to look at the kicking game. We know the strength of Ken Marshman in the kicking game, but Dallas's Nate Moransky, 2 field goals last week and 6 PATs. So the foot may be involved if it comes to a close game, and both teams have the good kickers.
Those are the keys. I think a key for Berwick all season long is going to be a secondary that I think is just going to be outstanding. I mean, last week, 2 huge impact plays. Evan Klinger with a 37-yard return of an interception that sets up the first touchdown. Tegan Wilk with an interception in the third quarter, which was a thing of beauty. You had to see it. He jumped the route. He made a great leaping catch. They made impact plays. And then at the corners, Damon Beckhorn, we know about his athleticism. He had 5 tackles in that opening game. And at the other corner, Alex Parks. What an addition. And I say addition because he missed most of last season. He was a start at the beginning, then had an illness, missed most of it, came back at the very end. I was really impressed by him last week, not only with his coverage skills, but his competitive nature. Several times it was a jump ball against tall receivers, and he was up to the task.
He's rangy at 6 foot. He plays them very tough. I also was impressed with Malik McMillan. He's 6'2", 178. He rotates in there an awful lot to help spell people. So I think Berwick has looked very good. Of course, when you talk secondary, your first instinct is to think pass coverage, no one beating you deep, covering the people. But they also run up hard and run support. And I think in a game like this one, where I think Dallas wants to establish that run, I think the aggressiveness, especially if someone like Evan Klinger, if he's at safety, and a Tegan Wilk, and a Damon Beckhorn and Alex Park is going to come into play.
Andy, either Frank Sheptock is not superstitious or he doesn't remember the history, but the Bulldogs are coming out of that locker room to our right, and I said they haven't in many, many years after they lost that opener. Bulldogs coming out in the field, you can tell by the reaction. They're wearing the dark blue jerseys, white helmets, white numerals, white pants. Across the way, the Mountaineers of Dallas, white jerseys, white pants, the powder blue North Carolina look with the blue helmets, blue numerals, and trim. Pretty good crowd on hand, and a perfect night for football. 64 degrees will be the game time temperature as Berwick playing their home opener against Dallas. This was a very one-sided affair a year ago. Berwick winning at Dallas 42-0. The way Dallas looked in the opener figures to be a lot tougher this time around.
Yeah, they played a young team last year. They're still a very young team, mostly freshmen and sophomores. What do you say, 21 out of 45. 21 out of 45 as freshmen and sophomores, but apparently very talented freshmen and sophomores. 5 sophomores start on the offense, 6 sophomores starting on the defense, and putting a 54-point score up against Coughlin, who traditionally is a very physical team. They have 2 1,000-yard runners returning. It says something to the level of their play and their coachability.
Andy, I talked to Rich Manella at the Wyoming Valley Conference Media Day, and he was talking about the youngsters, and he expected the freshmen who played significant time last year, like a Lenny Kelly, he expected them to perform like juniors. He said they've got a whole season of varsity football under them. It's not the normal situation with most sophomores playing varsity football.
It means a lot to get that experience, not just the experience of playing against other varsity caliber people, physically, of your size, if not bigger, but just to get the butterflies out, to get the notion of playing in front of the crowds, under the lights, in that varsity uniform that you've watched just a couple of years ago was a junior high player. So you get acclimated, you get to where there's no longer that sense of novelty about it, and you let your athleticism take over, you let the natural reflexes take over, and Well, apparently in the opener they certainly did. In fact, they closed very strong last year, too.
They did. They beat their arch rival, Lake Lehman. That's a terrific rivalry in the Back Mountain. They beat them in their final game of the regular season. Of course, with the expanded playoffs last year, a lot of teams made the playoffs, so Dallas got in even with a losing record. But in those playoffs, they did a wonderful job against Wyoming area, losing by a single point to a team that had beaten them handily during the season. And now we're going to listen to the Berwick alma mater, followed by the national anthem. John Obinger, the first-year head of the Berwick Area High School Marching Ensemble. Our national anthem, preceded by the Berwick alma mater, played by the Berwick Area High School Marching Ensemble. We're just about set for football tonight from Crispin Field in the Bulldogs home opener. Dallas won the toss, deferred to the second half, so we'll get a look at Berwick's offense, and we'll be keeping track tonight of the number of plays the Bulldogs run. That's very important to Frank Sheptock with this up-tempo offense. He felt they weren't up-tempo enough a week ago. In fact, he claims the 51 plays that Berwick ran were the fewest number of plays since he's been at Berwick. He'd like to see that up-tempo. And anyway, when you talk about that, I think when you have a lot of first-year starters, maybe not so sure of themselves, that'd be a little reluctant to go breakneck speed like that.
It's a little bit hard to judge. Breakneck speed, you're right. But sometimes it's kind of like that pitcher who's on the mound thinking too much about what pitch to throw. Get in there, get the play, get off the ball, and do what you need to do. There's something about a rhythm when you get the offense moving quickly that you have the advantage. You tend to fatigue the opposition more than you fatigue yourself. At the upper levels, they do it so that you can't make defensive substitutions and put in your specialty packages. That doesn't come into play so much here at this level. But it's more of a rhythm, and it's more if you feel you're the better team. If you get more plays into the game, the better your chances.
Nate Moransky will kick off for Dallas. Berwick moving from our left to our right. Evan Klinger, Tegan Wilk, Damon Beckhorn as this game is underway, and the kick will sail toward Wilk, who takes it on the bounce at the 2-yard line. To the 10, tries the left side, and is wrapped up. Good coverage downfield. He is brought down short of the 15-yard line. Danny Muser, a sophomore, among the people in on the play for the Mountaineers.
3 or 4 converge quickly. Bradley Adams among them as well, Jim.
Lining up defensively for Dallas, the front four, Danny Muser, Taylor Balesta, Michael Anderson, and Bradley Adams. The linebackers, Sean Cuba, David Schuster, and Chris Murray. The corners, Christian Motley and Dylan Schuster. The safeties, Lenny Kelly and Matt Moransky. 1st and 10, Bulldogs. They have it at their own 14-yard line. Alex Force out of the shotgun. And whistles, flags, blow the play dead.
I didn't see what happened, but it looks like a different type of defensive look.
The officials, Earl Harris is the referee. Jeff Arthur is the umpire. Linesman Chris Basic. David Elliott is the line judge. The side judge is John Basic. And Joseph Senchak is the field judge. Penalty went against Dallas, 5-yard to the 19. 1st and 5 for Berwick.
Safety's very deep off the ball.
Out of the pistol, Evan Klinger's the running back. He gets the call off the left side, looking for the first down yardage. He won't get it, but he'll get it over to the 20, to about the 22-yard line. Bring up a 3rd down at about 2 for Berwick.
Busting straight ahead, I think Dallas anticipating. Not using their secondary, though. The corners are very wide on the wideouts. Safety's almost 15 yards off the ball.
Berwick very quickly to the line of scrimmage from the 22-yard line. Forced back for his first throw. Has Beckhorn at the 25. Ridden out of bounds about the 27-yard line. It is a Berwick 1st down. Christian Motley rode him out.
Nice pass. Beckhorn aware of the chains, aware of the sideline. Kept going laterally and forward. Laterally a step and forward with the tackler trying to bring him down.
6 yards to the ground by Beckhorn. Had 4 receptions last week. He and Jared Watts are to the left. And now Beckhorn comes in motion. The call goes straight ahead to Klinger, and he's wrapped up for a loss back at the 26-yard line. He juggled the ball momentarily. They have caused him to slow up just a bit, and then big Taylor Balesta, 220-pound sophomore, wrapped him up. They mark it right at the 28. No gain, 2nd and 10.
And we're seeing the quick up-tempo. A lot of motion. They had to wait for Damon Beckhorn to clear before they could get the snap. It wasn't in clearly, and again, not a good exchange.
Force out of the gun. Fakes a handoff, keeps the football, gets outside, out of bounds at about the 40-yard line. Beautiful ball handling by Alex Force. You know, Frank Sheptock told us, Andy, that Michael Starbuck, the quarterback for Dallas, a great ball handler. I think that's one of the underrated things about quarterbacks, an advantage they can have. You talk about, you know, how hard they can throw it, decision-making, but ball handling is important.
Yeah, extremely aggressive on the Dallas defense, collapsing on the fake to Evan Klinger inside. Quarterback just keeps it wide.
12 yards on the carry. Now a quick out to the far side to Damon Beckhorn. He jukes out of a tackle. He gets out to the 48-yard line. Nice running by Damon Beckhorn. Ran right out of a tackle. Picked up extra yardage. They give him 8, 2nd and 2.
Yeah. He's at the slot on the left side. It's a short little pass. Quarterback Force gets it, immediately tosses it his way. And it's like a running play from there, and he's a dangerous, electric runner.
2nd and 2, Berwick from their own 48-yard line. Beckhorn in motion right to left. Keeping the ball is Alex Force, the quarterback, and he's got a first down and then some to the Dallas 45-yard line.
Quarterback Dylan Schuster has to stop him. A lot of crossing action in the backfield with motion and fake reversing. Things dive into the middle. He takes a delay, runs it up the middle, and moves to change yet again.
7 yards on the carry by Alex Force. 12 and 7 yards on 2 carries on this drive that's now reached the Dallas 45-yard line. Force a high snap, and it goes to Klinger, and Klinger has running room inside the 40 down to the 37-yard line. It's a high snap, and it deflected off Alex Force into the hands of Evan Klinger, just like they drew it up, an 8-yard pickup to the 37.
Yeah, almost like a direct snap to the tailback, but he has to play tip drill first. They'll get him 9 yards.
2nd down, closer to the 36-yard line of Dallas. Good snap this time. Force a quick out, incomplete, intended for Jake Seeley. Christian Motley, the corner, got a hand in there. We'll stop the clock with a 3rd and 1 facing Berwick at the Dallas 36.
And 2 down territory. I think you'd expect Berwick to power it here. It's a comfortable yard, maybe a little short of a full yard.
Evan Klinger again in the pistol behind and to the right of quarterback Alex Force. Fake to Klinger, throwing over the middle and wide open. Joe Norris inside the 5 down to the 2-yard line. Beautiful ball fake by Alex Force, right on target to the tight end, Joe Norris, his first catch of the season. It goes for huge yardage, down around the 2-yard line. That's a 34-yard pickup.
Beautiful. Third and short when you're in fourth down territory affords that option.
Here's a first and goal from the 2. As Force gives to Klinger. Klinger off the left side. Klinger in the end zone for a Berwick touchdown. Evan Klinger in from 2 yards out. The Bulldogs have an early lead.
Just a beautiful drive. Alex Force, 3 of 4 passing. The other one to the receivers and knocked away. He ran for 19 yards. Give Evan Klinger the rest of the yardage, including that touchdown, into 13 yards he earned on the drive. Just beautiful game planning.
10 plays, 86 yards. Alex Force, after throwing the touchdown pass, will now do the long snapping. Evan Klinger will hold. Ken Marshman with the extra point attempt. Snap is good. Placement. Kick is up. Kick is good. Top of the field with 9:12 remaining in the opening quarter. Berwick 7, Dallas nothing. You're listening to Bulldogs football on NEPAfootball.com.
Beautiful game planning, and you credit the coaches in that regard as to the plays that they do think will work. They wanted to power the middle, and they did, aided by an early penalty. But then the misdirection, the quarterback on the keeper wide after the good force, the mixing in of the passing, the running of the receivers after the catch. You can credit the game planning, but also credit the execution. Alex Forrest, with all of his passes on target, even though one's deflected away, very comfortable under quarterback. His faking leads to the execution of some of his long runs. One flub on the high snap, and it works Berwick's way, where it sort of breaks an opening seam down the middle for Evan Klinger. So a little luck, but mostly great execution to a great game plan.
And we talked about Alex Force and his performance last week in his first start on the varsity level. And boy, what a job he did on that drive. He had runs of 12 and 7 yards, and then the beautiful ball handling that sets up the long pass to the tight end, Joe Norris, that sets up the touchdown run by Evan Klinger. Now, Ken Marshman will kick off. Matt Moransky and Christian Motley, sophomore and junior respectively, back for Dallas. Marshman's kick high and deep to the far side, 7 yards and through the end zone for the first touchback of the season by Ken Marshman.
And no doubt about it, 7-8 yards deep. I wonder if they spotted it right, but yes, it was on the high school 40-yard line for that. Got a lot of foot on that, put it deep into the end zone. You're in high school too, you start on the 20-yard line after the touchback, not the 25, like in other levels of ball. So a tremendous weapon in the leg, Ken Marshman.
Berwick defensively across the front. Joe Norris, Tom Monaco, J.J. Snyder, Ben Peck, and Jimmy LeGrand. The linebackers, Noah Craig, the senior, and Joey Lynn. The corners, Damon Beckhorn and Alex Parks. Evan Klinger and Tegan Wilk, the safeties. First and 10, Dallas from their 20. Starbuck out of the gun. The left-hander is going to give on a quarterback draw, and he's hit hard about the 23-yard line.
That was Tegan Wilk, Jim, coming up from safety. He's reading the quarterback, which looked like pass, but it was quarterback draw. He took it in shotgun, raised the arm almost with a pump, then went off his right side. There was a seam, but Tegan Wilk came forward when the quarterback came forward. Gave him a physical hit, even though they gained 4 yards.
Second down and 6. Dallas moving from our right to our left. Clock running, 8:38 to go, opening quarter. Berwick with the early 7-0 lead. Slot to the right, wide receiver left. Starbuck out of the gun. Gives the ball to Kelly, his first carry, and gets over the 25 to the 26-yard line. Picks up just a couple on the play. Check that, it's the fullback Schuster who got the call. David Schuster picked up 2. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and 4. Mountaineers at their 26.
Joe Norris from his defensive end leaned in, grabbed him by the arms. He's not in position close enough to the play. It's hitting further inside. But he slows that runner down enough to get help from the pursuit. So he credits, give him a lot of credit on making the play.
Lenny Gaudio wide to the left. Here's the 3rd down and 4. Starbuck A quick out. He gets Gaudio, and a great tackle in the open field by Damon Beckhorn. Bring him down at the 25-yard line. That wasn't Gaudio, but it was number 24 who made the grab, Christian Motley. But a good tackle, sure, in the open field. They mark it right at the line of scrimmage, the 26, 4th and 4, punt team on. As Nate Moransky does all the kicking for this team. Back at his 13-yard line, gets a good snap, gets the kick away. It's very, very high, not particularly long, takes a Berwick bounce, and will roll dead across the way at about the 47-yard line.
Dangerously bounced near a Berwick blocker, Jim. I think they were yelling, get away, but the blocker's well upfield from that. I feared it may have hit the Berwick blocker in the heels, and then no one's playing as it rolls to the sideline. It goes out of bounds. No beanbags were dropped, so apparently it did miss his foot. But it had a funny look from up here.
21 yards on that punt, and Berwick takes over great field position at the Dallas 47-yard line with 7:08 remaining in this opening quarter, and the Bulldogs leading by a score of 7-0. Out of the gun, Alex Force. Klinger, the back to his right, slot to the right. Beckhorn in motion, the handoff to him. Beckhorn at the 45, Beckhorn at the 40, Beckhorn to the 38-yard line. Damon Beckhorn came in motion, got the handoff, and was brought down by Matt Moransky, one of the safeties, not before he picked up 8. 2nd and 2, Berwick at the Dallas 39.
He's a special talent, Jim. I mentioned him on the way up as we were coming. They're going to get more out of him. Ooh, a late flag. Did someone kick the football? The umpire threw it as he was standing over the football. He didn't like somebody's placement. Chase Struthers coming out, perhaps an equipment infraction, or perhaps he's bleeding, in which case he has to be removed. Now, will that be yardage?
Well, it should be, I would think, if we're a bleeding situation. We're watching Chase on the sideline. Mouthpiece. He just put a mouthpiece in.
Yeah.
And that is a violation. So it's going to be 2nd down and 7 for Berwick at the Dallas 44. Force has the shotgun snap. Back to throw. Fires on no ball's tipped in the air. Diving attempt at the interception at the 29-yard line. And the ruling incomplete. As making the tip was David Schuster, the middle linebacker. And then a diving attempt by a safety. Couldn't come up with it. It will be 3rd and 7, Berwick.
Matt Moransky was the guy who dove, and he had to look to the official to see whether or not he was going to be awarded possession. They tried to go to that slanting tight end again. They did it for big yardage. This time the linebackers get in front of it and tip it up.
Here's the 3rd and 7 Bulldogs. Force has the snap, plenty of time. Now it breaks down. Now he's going to scramble, looks for a block, and will get just to the 40-yard line. He needed 7. He picked up 4. So a decision for Frank Sheptog. 4th and 3, Berwick at the Dallas 40 with 6 minutes to go in the opening quarter.
Defense was strong on its first series, in which case you'd think they might be punting, but they didn't make the substitutions you'd expect in a punting change.
It's closer to 4 yards needed for the first down, but Berwick's going for it.
I try to draw him off first.
Force out of the gun, gives the ball to Klinger. Klinger lowers the shoulder, stretches the body, looking for the first down. He's close.
The stretch out of the football at the end of the run, if they give him that, and they should, might be just enough. It is the first down, Jim.
Big play by Evan Klinger. Terrific effort by him. It was defended well by Dallas. But a 1st and 10.
I was punting that one away if I was coaching it. Frank Sheptog rolls the dice. Knocked, kind of vanilla with a straight-ahead run, but he put it to his line to create that seam, and they did.
Beckhorn in motion right to left. Fake to him. Force keeps the football. Force inside the 30. Hit hard as he gets to the 25-yard line. And Alex Force's running in this opening quarter has been very, very effective. That's a 12-yard pickup there. And a first down at the Dallas 25.
Christian Motley really putting a lick on him right there at the chains. But Christian Force, by design, part of the game plan.
From the 25 of Dallas. Force gives the ball to Klinger. Klinger skips by one tackler and then is brought down at the 22-yard line. Defended well there by the Mountaineers.
They stretch it out there for 3, almost 4 though. So the offensive line must be shooting out. It didn't look like he had that much. Jim, the run by Alex Force up the middle, how many yards?
12 yards.
12 yards. Beautiful design. They're bringing a motion man, and then they're also crossing the other back. So both cross in front of the quarterback in shotgun. It widens the linebackers on the delay, and then he finds the seam up the middle. It's a nice play.
Slot to the right side. Force has the shotgun snap, back to throw, fires to Beckhorn. Beckhorn is brought down quickly at the 20-yard line. Good defense by Dallas. Chris Murray, who might be their best defender, coming from a linebacker position to make the play. Dallas did a great job last week against two of the real talents in the Wyoming Valley Conference, Jake Cole and Vincent Todd of Coughlin, containing both of them. Just 2 yards in that pickup, 3rd and 5, Berwick at the 20.
Berwick realizes that. They've been mixing in the pass because run just total against this team won't go. 6th pass of the game.
Force, play action, back to throw, has time. Now he dumps the ball at the last minute to Klinger, who is open at the 15. The first bad throw of the game by Alex Force goes into the dirt. And another 4th down situation for Berwick. Now they probably are in field goal range. 4th and 5 at the 20.
Long field goal range. I don't think you're going to see the field goal attempt, Jim. They'd have to use a timeout at this point, I think, if they want to go that route. Play from scrimmage, and they need 6 yards. Wide side of the field is to the left. They brought Owen Shoemaker in, probably to block in the passing situation.
So Shoemaker to the left of Force. Klinger to the right. Here we go. 4th and 5, Berwick from the 20. Dallas coming on a blitz, and it's blown dead. Whistles.
Heard the whistles. Looks like the umpire may have thrown that flag. Linesman as well. Someone moved. 5 against Berwick. Now do you decide to punt it in, Dave? No,
well, you don't punt it. Not from
the
25.
No, not from there.
It would be a career long for Ken Marshman, as Berwick faces 4th down and 10 at the 25-yard line.
Change the formation, change the play because of the additional yardage needed.
Force has the snap, back to throw, looking long, intended for Beckhorn, goes up, makes the catch, and is in for a touchdown! David Beckhorn with a terrific grab. He was covered well, he went up and got it, and just got into that pylon for the score. It goes 25 yards.
One-on-one coverage with the corner, Christian Motley. He's a tough kid, but he's listed at 5'5", 140. It's a fade pattern, a deep fade, right at the pylon on the goal line. They both go up. Beckhorn goes up much higher, comes down, kicking the pylon out for the touchdown.
And that was on a 4th and 10 call.
Beautiful.
Force, snap, hold by Klinger, kick by Marshman is good. Time on the field. 3:41 remaining first quarter. Berwick 14, Dallas nothing. You're listening to Bulldogs football on NEPAfootball.com. 47 yards on that series for Berwick. And again, Alex Force with one errant throw on that drive. Otherwise, he has been magnificent in this opening quarter.
I was waiting for the commercials, Jim. I was doing some tallying. Forgot we don't get them. Doing the passing numbers for Alex Force altogether on the game. 5 completes and 7 attempts. No interceptions. 77 yards, including that beautiful 25-yard fade pattern to David Beckhorn. He put it up where only Beckhorn was going to be able to get it. If it was intercepted, it didn't matter anyway. It was 4th down. So it's a bit of a risk play, but a risk you're willing to take when you have that type of a mismatch, a 5'5" corner on one of the most athletic people in the conference, Damon Beckhorn, who can sky high for football.
Marshman will kick it off. Baranski and Motley deep for the Mountaineers. Another beautiful kick by Marshman, again into the end zone, 7 yards deep, and another touchback by Ken Marshman. And Andy, we know he is a terrific place kicker, and that's important. Extra points, field goals when you get the opportunity. But on this level, if you can kick off like that, that is a huge weapon. I think more important than the place kick.
Unbelievable to start down here on the 20-yard line. I was looking, we're in an enclosed box. I thought, well, maybe there's some wind, looking for streamers, looking at that flag, and it is just limp. No wind assisting these kicks.
So 2 touchbacks for Marshman in the game. As Kelly gets the call, he's hit beyond the line of scrimmage. Swarming defense by the Bulldogs. And he'll lose yardage back to the 16.
Well, they got in there. The defensive linemen on their charge. Got penetration, located the football, hit the runner in the backfield, spun him down, and then piled on top.
Berwick has really dominated time of possession in this opening quarter, which has 3:12 remaining. And Dallas in need of a first down. 2nd and 13. Mountaineers at their 17. I formation now.
This is their 5th play.
Kelly at the tail of the tandem. Starbuck, play action, back to throw. Fires a bullet. Has Jack Farrell, the tight end. And Farrell gets out to the 30-yard line. Nice pass play. Starbuck to Farrell. Damon Beckhorn in on the stop for the Bulldogs. 13, let's see. They're going to mark it at the 29, so it's a 12-yard pickup. And it will be 3rd down and 1.
Crossing pattern from right tight end in front of the linebackers. Catches it as he crosses the formation on the left. Turns it up for a few yards after that. Nice design, nice execution. Berwick stopping it just short of the chains in the secondary.
3rd down, less than a yard.
Under center.
Schuster, the fullback, ahead of Kelly in the I formation. Starbuck sets him down. Quarterback keeper looking for a little bit of room. Gets a surge to that offensive line and gets the first down. Almost 5 yards on the play. Good work by the offensive front for Dallas. Starbuck picks up the first down.
Joe Lynn crashed the A-gap here on the near side. Met that quarterback. Wasn't going to stop the first down. But everything was too tight. He couldn't get the arms in there to wrap. Quarterback kept pushing on the other side in the A-gap, and eventually his men created a little bit more momentum, and they do get a nice gain on that.
5 yards in the carry by the sophomore quarterback, Michael Starbuck. Again, the I formation from the 34-yard line. Starbuck, play action, flag down, fires a pass, has Schuster. Schuster's wrapped up by Evan Klinger. Klinger as sure a tackler as you'll see in the high school football ranks. Wrapped him up. We'll check the flag.
May have gained a yard, maybe not. Berwick will have, if this is against Dallas, the option of maybe declining it. I didn't see the infraction. Didn't see who threw the flag. Looks like they're talking to the lineman. And it is against Dallas. And it's motion. So instead of the 1 yard gain, wipe it away, moving back 5 from there. Net loss of 6 instead of taking the play.
1st and 15 for the Mountaineers. With just 1:40 to go in this opening quarter, it has been a terrific quarter for Berwick. They have been really sharp, particularly in the offensive end. 2 possessions, 2 scores, 14-0 is their lead. In motion, Moransky. Quarterback draw by Starbuck. Has some room, and Evan Klinger goes down and makes a sure tackle at the 33-yard line.
Quarterbacks, when they run, have advantages. It's an extra blocker because he's not handing it off and becoming wasted himself. The danger, though, is that he can take the hard shots. And while he got 5 yards out of it, Evan Klinger coming up from safety with momentum. Meets his force with a hard hit and drives him back.
2nd down and 10. Dallas with the football at their own 34-yard line. Clock winds down to a minute remaining in this opening quarter of Berwick's home opener. Luke Delgadio wide to the right. There's a slot to that side, an I formation behind Starbuck. Sophomore back to throw, rolls right, try to get the corner, then throws at the last moment, incomplete. Oh, he had 2 receivers wide open behind the Berwick secondary.
Chris Murray was one, and then one coming deeper. Jim, I think it was by design. He showed a quarterback run. He's a lefty, rolling hard to the right, and sold run until he got to the sideline and the chain. but by design, receivers downfield, and he heaved it against his body. But because he's a lefty rolling right, can't get the accuracy on it that he'd like.
3rd down and 10. Dallas at their 34. Starbuck out of the gun with a slot to the right side. Back to throw. Big pass rush by Snyder. Then he's wrapped up by Bedpeck. Back at the 30-yard line, a sack. And even though he won't get the sack, J.J. Snyder deserves a lot of credit. He got in there first, forced Starbuck into several other Bulldogs, including Peck. It's a loss of 4 and the punt team on.
And Peck played the middle well, though. He wouldn't let the man step up more than that one step. 5-yard loss on that sack.
Nate Moransky back to do the punting. Matt Ferrara does the long snapping for Dallas. They may let this quarter wind down, and it appears that they will. So 1 quarter in the books here in the Berwick home opener at Crespin Field. Berwick 14 and Dallas nothing. You're listening to Bulldogs football on NEPAfootball.com.
Jimmy, have we seen Lenny Kelly with the carry yet in this game? I don't have him for any.
I had him as well.
The one, I must have given it to Schuster because they just haven't had any success. Michael Starbuck, the quarterback, is the leading rusher. 4 carries with a net of 9 yards after suffering that last sack. And then Schuster and Lenny Kelly, one had a 2-yard gain, the other lost 2.
Yeah, I had Kelly as losing those 3 on their first play of that last possession.
Yeah. So, they're not getting anything out of the standard running game, and that's their bread and butter. The finesse looks nice, but it almost looks a little bit desperate. They haven't tried a lot, but they haven't had a lot of plays. I've mentioned 6 runs, 2 passes. Make it 3. Well, no, that one went for nothing.
Evan Klinger, Tegan Wilk back anticipating the punt by Moransky, and it will be Wilk at the 40, over midfield and to the 44-yard line. Looked like it might be a candidate for a fair catch, but he grabbed it and made a nice return, and Berwick in business to start this second quarter.
Yeah, he hurried. Normally on a punt, you let it come down to your number and chest it with 2 hands. He actually saw that people were coming down. His blocker was in front of him. He went up high to catch it above his head almost with a jump, and then used that momentum to rush it forward for about 15 yards before Eric Kreiner pulled him down.
Berwick moving from our right to our left in the second quarter. 1st and 10 at the Dallas 44-yard line. Alex Force, play action, back to throw, looking long to the far side, overshoots his man. Jared Watts, who appeared to be open at the 30-yard line.
He did, but a little bit rushed. He was floating out on a shallow flag pattern near the chains. Another man took the corner deep. Open underneath, but it's a long way from the left hash to the right sideline. He didn't want to float it, so he threw it a little more safely than he needed to.
2nd and 10, Bulldogs at the Mountaineer 44-yard line. Noah Craig, the center, over the football as Force awaits the shotgun snap. Gives the ball to Owen Shoemaker. Shoemaker's first carry, and he'll go nowhere. He'll lose back to the 46-yard line. Good defensive work by the Mountaineers. They were all over that run by Evan Shoemaker. Leading the way was Sean Cuba, the linebacker, 5'7", 190-pound junior.
He came up, squared up, and made that hit. Made a big hit.
So 3rd down and 11. Berwick at the Dallas 45-yard line. Slot to the right, slot to the left. Force out of the gun. Has the snap. Pump fake, going to keep the football. Throws it at the last moment. Bounces in front of Owen Shoemaker. Again, it was Cuba, that linebacker, who had Force in the grasp. So that's a good defensive series for Dallas, one they really had to have. They're already behind 14-0. Berwick 1st and 10 at their 44. That's a 3-and-out and punting situation for the Bulldogs.
I think it was designed to be a quarterback draw, but man interposed himself, as you mentioned. Cuba read it well. Kind of a headsy play instead of taking a 3-4 yard loss. Alex Force flips it ahead to Shoemaker, who's standing there. If he can receive it and make something happen, wonderful. If not, you save the yardage.
Alex Sharkuski will punt for Berwick. Gets the snap, gets the kick away, sails it to the far side. Good coverage by the Bulldogs. And it splits the two deep men for Dallas and rolls all the way inside the 5-yard line.
Yes, it does. Jared Woods and 4 or 5 others down there eventually put their hand on it when it stops maximizing in the roll. So inside the 5, horrible field position for Dallas to try to start this drive with an offense that really hasn't been able to get itself going.
Great job by Sharkuski, the junior. Did a good job last week. Jake Betts was tabbed to be the punter this year, but he was hurt in the preseason scrimmage against East Stroudsburg South. So Sharkuski doing the job. I formation. Dallas at their own 5-yard line. Kelly the call. Kelly off the left side, and he is going to spin for a couple to about the 7-yard line.
One got him low. Joey Lynn got him high. Physical play, they'll pound and stretch for a couple of yards, but not out of that hole.
2nd down and 7 for Dallas. Clock running, 10:30 remaining in this first half. Good crowd on hand at Crispin Field. The Bulldogs leading Dallas by a score of 14-0.
Quarterback running all the way to the sideline and all the way back to his own end zone to get the play in.
Ryan Lawbaugh in for this series in the secondary for Berwick. I formation. Starbuck, play action. Rolls to his right, fires to the sideline, incomplete. Intended for Murray, and good coverage by the man I just mentioned, Ryan Lawbaugh, sophomore.
I saw him on the last series. Wasn't sure I had the number right because he was on the far side in that quarter. But there he made nice play. There's a little contact before the ball got there, but he had as good a chance of catching it as the receiver did. Very clean play defensively.
3rd down and 7. Dallas at their own 8-yard line. Big play for the Mountaineers. They wouldn't want to have to punt it out of here.
No.
Already trailing 14-0 here in the second.
They've shown quarterback draw a lot. Don't know if they'd go with it again.
Starbuck out of the gun. Has the snap. Back to throw. Fires to the far side. Has Jack Farrell. Farrell reaches for the sticks across the way. We'll have to see where they mark it.
They knocked him out of bounds right inside the chain, but where was the football placed? Where is the chain now that's been knocked over? As they stretch that chain, I think he's short of it by a yard, Jimmy, and I think you have to punt it away.
Yeah, I really think you do. Even though you're down 14-0, this is just not a place to go for it. They've not consistently run the football. They needed 7, they got 6. 4th and 1, punt team on.
Is that Jack Farrell with the catch to tight end, Jim? Nice physical run after the catch.
Nate Baranski back to do the punting, standing back at his 1-yard line, gets the snap, gets the kick away. Beautiful kick, high and deep, and Evan Klinger will take it and be drilled at the Dallas 48-yard line. A flag flies.
Dylan Schuster came in low at his knees and kind of rolled through. Flag's thrown way over on this near side of the field, whereas the tackle was made over on the numbers on the far side. He didn't call a fair catch. I don't think you can say he's defenseless.
No, I don't think it has anything to do with Klinger and the tackle.
I don't think it should. Good hit.
Illegal use of hands against Berwick, so march off. And the Bulldogs had great field position. They'll settle for good field position as they take over at their own 43-yard line with 9:45 to go in the first half. And Berwick leading Dallas 14-0.
Come out with a nice opening drive. Great game plan, the way they're calling it, mixing the run and the pass. Damon Beckhorn's been a standout with 4 catches so far, including a 25-yard touchdown. And he's the threat when you hit him underneath.
Bulldogs from their 43. Beckhorn in motion left to right. The call goes to Evan Klinger. Klinger looking for running room, gets over the 45 to the 46. A couple of score updates. Central Columbia leading Lewisburg 21-0 in the first half. Southern Columbia 21 and Bloomsburg 0. That's the end of the first quarter. First quarter score, Danville 7. And South Williamsport, nothing. The Ironmen of Danville christening their artificial turf tonight. 2nd and 7, Berwick from their own 46. As Force will keep the football off the right side, gets over midfield, gets to the 49-yard line, picked up 5. The running quarterback has been very, very effective for Berwick in the first half.
It is a weapon in this system. We're expecting, or Berwick was hoping, it would be the oversized quarterback, Jared Marshman, who can do the power running. But Alex Force does very nice finesse running, and it works well.
4th and 3, Berwick, just over midfield. Force hands the ball to Shoemaker, and Shoemaker is brought down. What a great tackle in the open field.
Wonderful. Number 29 it was, Jim. Matt Moransky. He came shooting up from safety. Owen Shoemaker got through the line of scrimmage, broke to his left, and having the angle look like he was going to be able to run away from everyone, easily make the change. It looked like it was going to be a big play. But Moransky shot up from safety and really put a hit on him, stopping him dead in his tracks and forcing the punt.
4th and 3, Berwick. And Charkuski will punt it away, standing back at the Berwick 38-yard line. Snap is low. He fields it on a bounce and does get the kick away. And not a bad kick as they come up and make the catch, and great special teams work by Berwick. That was Matt Moransky on the return, but not much of a return as Berwick got down there quickly.
Ryan Lawbaugh on the hit. Back out there at cornerback, staying there for this series. So, we'll see where things go.
Dallas takes over at their own 28-yard line. 7:46 remaining in this first half. Berwick continuing to lead this one 14-0 as the Bulldogs scored on their first 2 possessions of this game. Dallas has tightened up defensively, but now the Mountaineers need to get something going on the offensive end from their 28. Flags and whistles blow things dead.
By the linesman, so it's not a delay. Kind of a movement at the line of scrimmage. Dallas moving its huddle back.
And a half where you've struggled to move the football, not a good way to start out. 1st and 15 for the Mountaineers at their 23-yard line.
I think the lineman just lined up in the neutral zone, and once he takes his stance, there's no way out of there, so they just blow it dead. Need a little bit more awareness, look down the line, see where that center has the football, and make sure you're comfortably behind it.
Michael Starbuck, as he's done all game, goes to the sideline. Rich Manella gets the play call. Now he's under center with an I formation behind him. 1st and 15. Kelly gets the call. Brian Kelly brought down by Evan Klinger. What a terrific tackler he is.
Unbelievable read on the play, Jimmy. That's the thing. He's playing as a strong safety, sort of a linebacker on the left. And he just read it. It was slow developing. They tried to bring him up with a little bit of a delay. And Evan Klinger, once he saw the action, broke on up, met it in the backfield, and just beautiful form tackle with a little bit of pop to it.
They give Kelly a yard on the play. 2nd and 14. Dallas at their 24-yard line. Wide receiver to either side. I formation. Starbuck. Play action. Back to throw. Looking. Fires over the middle into a crowd. The ball tipped and incomplete. And that receiver took a real hit from Ryan Lawbaugh. And that receiver is still prone. Timed perfectly by Lawbaugh.
Not an illegal hit, but a good hard hit to separate him from the football. And then it was tip drill as Berwick had 2 other players behind. But their momentum took them past the play unless they could tip it to themselves from back to forward. Lawbaugh's a little bit of a surprise, Jim. You know, they try to rest Damon Beckford because he gets offensive snaps. But, we see other people in our defensive depth chart. We've seen other people who've played well at corner. I'm a little surprised we've seen as much as Lawbaugh played most of this quarter and most of the first quarter defensively.
So the player is up on his feet. And that's good news for Dallas because he is a very good two-way player. Chris Murray, wide receiver and linebacker. Went off under his own power. I think we'll see him again.
Yeah.
Quite a hit by Ryan Lawbaugh. It'll bring up 3rd and 14 Dallas at their 24.
Got a number of quite a hits in this game, both ways. You get jarred like that, you have to make sure all the pieces are still working and probably get the wind knocked out of you as well.
So it'll be a 3rd down and long for Dallas. Ball back to their 24-yard line. Again, this is a young Dallas team. They have a number of sophomores in the starting lineup, including their quarterback, Michael Starbuck, who during the injury timeout went to the sideline, got the play call from head coach Rich Bonnell in his 3rd season as the head coach after a long stint at King's College. There was a long stretch where King's College did not have football, about 30 years altogether. And Rich came in, built up the program. They were a JV program for a couple of years, then went on to the varsity level. Boy, it took a while to get it going, but once he did, Kings established themselves, were in the postseason a number of times, and 14 times as the head coach of King's College. He was on the other sideline facing Frank Sheptock, who was the head coach at Wilkes. Here we go, 3rd and 14. Starbuck out of the gun. Slot to the left. Starbuck rolls that way. Fires the pass downfield, incomplete. Like Beckhorn may have gotten a hand on it. Alex Parks on the coverage. Talked earlier about just how talented this Berwick secondary is. Good example there. 4th down, punt team on for Dallas.
And Parks has looked strong, very strong in the Hazels game, made his presence known there on the deep corner type of pattern, coming back to the ball. He breaks with the receiver, gets a hand inside, pushes it away.
Back to punt as Nate Moransky gets the kick away at a beauty. High and deep, and it goes over the head of Klinger and rolls dead at the Berwick 26-yard line. So a terrific kick, 50 yards altogether.
Klinger and Wilk didn't communicate well. They're in double safeties. And instead of one of them backing up to make the catch, they both kind of took a step forward. Is this a block for the other? They looked at each other afterwards and kind of said, what happened there? But the bounce certainly did help Dallas's cause.
So the Bulldogs take over at their own 26-yard line with 6:33 to go in this opening half. Berwick leading Dallas by a score of 14-0. Both running backs, Owen Shoemaker and Evan Klinger, in there now on either side of Alex Force, who awaits the shotgun snap. Play action, back to throw. Fires a quick out, has his man Jared Watts. Flags fly. Watts still on his feet. He's brought down at the 36-yard line, very close to a 1st down. We'll check the flag.
Flag well after the pass. Count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and in the scrum near the line of scrimmage comes the flag. So either an illegal push or a shot or something late, or a very late hold for a lineman downfield.
Which is the call by Earl Harris.
Yeah, yes it is. So, very nice design, something that didn't need to happen. Lineman getting too aggressive with his block, staying on the man. I like the design to the play. The running backs kind of clear out on run fakes. Alex Klinger semi-rolls to the left, but keeps the shoulders square. Has a lot of time. And his receiver, Jared Watts, nicely open, curling underneath, and a nice run after the catch.
1st and 16, Bulldogs back at their 20. Force, play action, looks to throw, rolls right, fires the last moment, and it goes incomplete.
There was strong coverage on Jake Seeley down there. They wanted to sneak him out late, a little banana, and the coverage was just too strong to throw it. So intentionally grounded in a legal sort of way to avoid the sack, but in the direction of the receiver. One receiver route on that side, no other options. Alex Force gets rid of the ball.
And another flag, holding call against Berwick.
Getting a little sloppy in there. Block one man well below, past the line of scrimmage, and then hold on this one. both on that right side of the line as well, it seems, by where the flags were thrown.
So it's back at the 9-yard line. Be first and 27 for Berwick.
Forces your hand a little bit in play selection.
Alex Force out of the gun. Another
Center
flag down.
Center flinched. They wanted to go on a later snap count. Snapper, who has to shotgun it back, half forgot. Flinched with the arm and the football. Close-up view of it through the binoculars. You have to throw that one. Running out of room now, Jimmy.
First and 32 now for Berwick, back at their 4-yard line.
Evan Klinger punts, maybe a quick kick.
He is lined up in the pistol behind the quarterback, Alex Force. Slot to the left. Beckhorn comes in motion. Call goes to Klinger. He's cut down in the open field at about the 10-yard line. He'll pick up 6. Second down and long.
Very nice reaction by Chris Murray, Jim. He was injured. He's the guy who really got the wind knocked out of him by Lawbaum. He's back in. He was outside with contain, made a hard move back upfield to the center to stop that from being a much longer play.
Gain of 6, second and 26. Berwick at their own 10. Slot to the left. Beckhorn, the wideout. Back to throw is Force. He hits Beckhorn. Nice tackle in the open field. The ball was loose, but it came loose when he hit the ground, did Beckhorn, at the 16-yard line. So they picked up 6 on that quick out. And now it'll be 3rd and 20, Berwick at their 16.
Murray on him. He gets the tough challenge. As Beckhorn tries to spin away, Murray spins him down. As he goes down, the ball hits the ground, which is the way that they ruled it rather than a fumble. Murray pleading for the fumble, but he would.
3rd down and 20. Berwick at their own 16. Force looks to the sideline, gets the play call, has the shotgun snap, fires the quick out to Beckhorn. Beckhorn looking for some blocking. It's not there. Good swarming defense by the Mountaineers. He's brought down by a host of white jerseys at the 20-yard line.
Yeah, great team defense. Your play selection's limited because of the down and distance. You can't get too risky. So a short throw and hope for the run. Try to set up a screen with a wide receiver and a pulling tackle. But Dallas anticipating and reacting very quickly had 4 players where Berwick had 2 blockers.
Lenny Kelly, deepest of the 2 people back for Dallas. Alex Sharkuski back at the Berwick 7-yard line. Ready to punt it away. Snap is a little bit high. He goes back. Here comes Dallas. Sharkuski is forced to run with the football, and he's brought down at the 17-yard line. So a high snap. Sharkuski has to run with the ball, and Dallas in business, trailing 14-0 with 4:12 to go in this opening half.
Sets up an opportunity. It's a challenge to get good long snaps in high school. If you have someone who can do it consistently, you cherish it. Berwick's at the point where their quarterback is the guy who has to give it a try, throwing it between his legs. That one sailed a little high. I thought Sharkuski had a chance to get it off. He had to pull it down. But he's flushed to his left, and as a right-footed kicker, you can't. If he was flushed the other way to his right, he could have rugby-styled it, but he just could not get it off going in that direction to his left.
Dallas with a great opportunity for the 17. Kelly was split wide out. He comes and takes the handoff, but he slips down. They put Kelly in a slot to the left side, came in motion, took the handoff, but he slipped down for a 3-yard loss to the 20-yard line. 2nd down and 13.
His 4th carry, minus 2 yards is his net. Looked like he might have found the seam. He likes to go north-south, so when you bring him east-west in motion, he has to plant. His eyes, the vision, sees where he wants to run, but he just doesn't have the physical ability to plant and turn it up as the carpet gives way under him.
3:35 to go in the half. Dallas at the Berwick 20, 2nd and 13. Starbuck out of the gun, has the snap. Quarterback draw, looking for room off the right side. He is wrapped up right about the 20-yard line.
Jimmy LeGrand playing his defensive end position well, keeping the contain. Staying off a little, not committing themselves into a rush to be sure, because this quarterback has run a lot. Jimmy LeGrand that time in a perfect spot to make the stop.
Big call. 3rd and 7, Dallas. Under 3 minutes to go opening half. Dallas with an opportunity to cut Berwick's lead in half. They trail 14-0. From the Berwick 19, here's a 3rd and 12. Slot to the left, wide receiver right. Starbuck out of the gun. Has the snap, rolls left. Looking, he's going to be wrapped up by Jimmy LeGrand back at the 25-yard line. LeGrand coming from the backside, gets Starbuck. Huge play by Berwick's defensive end. Back at the 25-yard line, 4th and long, Dallas.
Tremendous play, chasing it down from behind. Credit Joe Norris on the opposite side. It was coming his way, and he had to slow that quarterback down a little bit in his roll. It slowed him down enough for Jimmy LeGrand to come all the way from the far side behind the line of scrimmage and get Berwick's 2nd sack of the game.
4th and 18, Dallas at the Berwick 25-yard line. It will be a play from scrimmage. Jack Farrell, the tight end, to the left. Slot to the right. Moransky, wide left. Starbuck on 4th down, back to throw, has the time, looking long for Farrell into the end zone. The ball is batted down, incomplete.
Safety Evan Klinger is in the back corner of the end zone. They're in double safety, splitting the field. They had man-to-man coverage under that. It was solid man coverage with the corner on the far side, but then the safety there to help made it where a double team in the end zone. No way that pass can be completed, and Berwick will take over.
Terrific job by the Bulldog defense as Dallas had a first down at the Berwick 17-yard line. Berwick takes over at the 25. Bulldogs with their full complement of timeouts remaining. 1:45 to go in the half. They lead Dallas 14-0. Slot to the left side, wide receiver right, and we have a timeout call, I believe.
Might be immediate timeout.
No, timeout Dallas.
Yep.
I like the call by Rich Manell. He's got the 3 timeouts. The ball's in Berwick territory. Last series, his defense did very, very well containing the Bulldogs. So he'll take the chance here. 14-0 Berwick, 1:45 remaining in this opening half. Berwick with that 14-0 lead. Bulldogs on the road next week to take on Wyoming area. Their head coach is Randy Spencer, and we'll hear from him at halftime. They're playing Crestwood tonight. Had a chance to talk to Randy at the Wyoming Valley Conference Media Day. You'll hear from him at the half. 1:45 till that half. Berwick 1st and 10 at their 25. Force out of the gun, has the snap, gives the ball to Evan Klinger. Klinger up the middle is knocked back after a short gain to the 27-yard line.
David Schuster on the inside, then helped by the safety. Clock will continue to run. 1 minute and 30 seconds left. Berwick comes right to the line, but they may take their time on this.
2nd and 7. Bulldogs at their 28. Slot to the left. The give is to Klinger. Klinger tries the left side and is knocked back after he got to the 31. Picked up about 3 on the play. So a 3rd down call coming for the Bulldogs as we wind down to 1 minute remaining in this opening half.
280-pound Michael Anderson had him by the ankle, and then a linebacker comes up and finishes it off.
4 yards on the carry by Klinger. Once again, Berwick looking to the sideline to head coach Frank Sheptock for the call.
I think Frank Sheptock realized there's not a whole lot of time to get the score. Dallas was the one wanting to conserve the time.
Here's the 3rd down call. It's Klinger again. Klinger gets by one tackler and another, and very close to the 1st down. I think he has it.
The chain is right on the 35-yard line. He had the ball past that, and then they hit him back. True spot, closer to the 36, and that will earn him the 1st down.
Well, that was an attitude run.
Yeah.
There was not much room for Evan Klinger.
They had him by an ankle. He kicked out of that. They had him by a jersey. He pulled away from that, and then kept running and pushing and making it happen.
Berwick 1st down at their own 36. Forced to throw. Fires over the middle. Has his man, Jared Watts, in Dallas territory. Watts down to the 41-yard line.
Ooh, was that pretty. 22 yards straight down the middle. Watts started on the left, short post in front of the safeties. And Alex Forrest just delivers it. We're going to get a timeout for Berwick here. Normally they'd have to hustle my comments, Jim, so we'd break for commercial. But that doesn't happen anymore. Beautiful play.
I have 23 yards on the reception.
I'll go with you.
Jared Watts had a big catch last week at Hazleton area, 19-yarder, that set up an eventual Evan Klinger touchdown run. Berwick with 2 timeouts remaining. And this is where, the Ken Marshman factor comes in. Obviously, you'd like to put 7 more on the board, but you have a excellent place kicker. So they're a first down or 2 away from his range.
That was just such a beautiful play. I mentioned early, I think on the very first play for Dallas, how deep the safeties were. So it's a post over the middle in front of them as they're backpedaling, so you get 20 yards right there if you're on the money.
First down from the Dallas 41. Forced back to throw. Fires over the middle. Beckhorn makes the catch inside the 20, the 15, the 10, the 5. Dives for the end zone. He's close. They say he came up just short.
Well, he deserved it. What a play. Same type of action. Instead of going to the post underneath, it's a deeper post to Beckhorn as the safeties cheated up. Oh, it was beautiful. Berwick will take a timeout, regroup, make sure things are good. But as Beckhorn catches the deeper post behind the safeties, people are coming in on him. He knows he's going to take a hit. Immediately after securing the ball, there's a quick step to the outside, and he avoids the one safety who probably should have been playing to stop him there, just grabbing with everything he can. Would have pulled him down around the 15. But the sidestep in his mind as he goes up with a bit of a leap, catches the ball over his head, and a well-thrown ball it was, right down the middle on a line. And making the move while making the catch, getting it right down to the goal line, and the officials saying he just didn't quite get it across. How far on that, Jim?
40 yards on the reception. Here comes Berwick. First and goal at the 1. 40 seconds remaining first half. Owen Shoemaker is the running back. Behind and to the left of Force. Berwick shifts, blocking backs on the left. And movement on the part of Berwick. And boy, at the 1 yard line, that is just unforgivable.
Blocking back, who normally is at linebacker, broke his stance to get into the play. You're inches away, and now you're 5 yards away. Gotta watch the clock as well. 40 seconds.
So Berwick still with a timeout remaining. And they have it about the 6 yard line.
Is it 4 seconds, 4.0, Jim?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I thought it was.
Yes, here's Ken Marshman to kick the extra point from the 13 yard line. High snap. The placement is down, and the kick is up, and the kick is good. Line drive kick by Ken Marshman. My apologies where I'm located. And here's my excuse. The upright is blocking one of the digits on the scoreboard. And as a result, I had it as a 40-second. It was just a 4-second, and now the first half has come to an end as Marshman boots it through, and Berwick extends the lead after one half to 17-0.
I'm with you, Jim. I thought it was 40. I was kind of counting from down the other end as well. I thought they had more time. It can get a little bit confusing, when they go to these decimals the way they do in basketball. And, certainly good thing Frank Sheptock has the eye and knows his scoreboard better than we do.
Well, that's a big score. Remember, Berwick had it in their own territory. Dallas actually called a timeout after Berwick's first play. And it looked like the Mountaineers would use all of their timeouts and try to hold Berwick. But then after the great effort by Evan Klinger getting the first down, the Bulldogs went to the air, and they end up with the field goal by Marshman, and they end up extending the lead at the half to 17-0. Here is the first half scoring if you're just joining us. Berwick looked very, very sharp offensively in that first quarter, scoring on their first 2 possessions. Off the opening kickoff, they went 10 plays, 86 yards. Evan Klinger in from the 2-yard line for the score. Along the way, big plays, Alex Force, who had a tremendous first half. He had runs of 12 and 7 yards. And then off play action, he hit tight end Joe Norris 34 yards to the 2-yard line to set up the 2-yard touchdown run by Evan Klinger, Klinger's second of this young season. Ken Marshman with the extra point. 9:12 to go opening quarter. Berwick led by a score of 7-0. On the Bulldogs' next possession, after a 3-and-out by Dallas, Bulldogs took over at the Dallas 47-yard line. They faced a 4th down and 10 eventually at the Mountaineer 25-yard line. And Force was able to hit Damon Beckhorn on the far side, just at the pylon, got in for the score. Marshman had the extra point with 3:41 to go in the opening quarter. Berwick led by a score of 14-0. In the second quarter, Dallas had their best opportunity. Berwick punting from their own territory. There was a bad snap. Cherkowski kept the football, was brought down at the Berwick 17-yard line. But Berwick's defense was outstanding all through the half, but particularly on that drive. The great opportunity by Dallas went awry, and the Bulldogs took over at their 25-yard line. On that possession, as I mentioned earlier, Dallas actually called a timeout after the first down play by Berwick, gained just 3 yards. But the Bulldogs eventually converted on 3rd down on a strong run by Evan Klinger. And then Alex Force went to work. 23 yards to Jared Watts into Dallas territory. And on the next play, 40 yards to Damon Beckhorn, who just missed getting in the end zone, brought down at the 1-yard line. So Berwick, 1 yard away from a touchdown, but illegal procedure against the Bulldogs brought back to the 6. 4 seconds to go. Frank Sheptock went to the field goal, 22 yards from Ken Marshman as the first half came to an end. And Berwick goes into the half leading by a score of 17-0. And again, stay with us at halftime. We'll bring you some high school scores from the area. Andy will have the first half stats. And we'll also hear from Randy Spencer, the head coach of the Warriors of Wyoming area, a team that played Berwick twice this season, last season, beating the Bulldogs here at Crispin Field early on in week 3. And then the Bulldogs turned the table in the district semifinals at Jake Sobeski Stadium. Jake Sobeski Stadium in West Pittston will be the venue for next Friday night's game as the Bulldogs go against Wyoming area, and they'll hope to go there with a 2-0 record. Right now, looking good, leading Dallas at the break, 17-0. Stats in the first half, Andy Lickney.
Overwhelmingly in favor of Berwick, Jim. The offense has generated 240 yards, and the defense has held Dallas to 20 yards. Don't know which way to start. Let's look at that smothering defense. Now, Dallas came in with tremendous numbers after last week. Lenny Kelly, star running back, who had 208 yards last week, here on 4 carries, -2 yards. David Schuster had 1 burst, a 2-yard gain for the fullback, and then the rest is out of quarterback Michael Starbuck. A lot of running by design. He's also been sacked a couple times. I have him with 5 carries for a net of 2 yards in all. So just a net of +2 yards altogether in the running game on 10 carries. Berwick playing smothering defense against the run and looking just as strong against the pass. I have Starbuck completing just 3 passes in 8 attempts, no interceptions, but just 18 yards. Christian Motley caught 1, but stopped at the line of scrimmage on that one, no gain. Jack Farrell, the tight end, catching the other 2 passes, a total of 18 yards. Had an impressive one fighting from the chains, trying to get out of their own end, but Berwick kept him just short and forced the punt. 18 yards in the air, 2 yards on the ground. Berwick's defense holding the Mountaineers of Dallas to 20 yards here in the first half. Looking at the Bulldogs offensively, 90 yards on the ground, 150 in the air for 240 yards. They also had 3 plays in the kicking game. So 18 rushes, 14 passes, and 3 in the kicking game. I meant to add up. And we have 34 plays here in the first half. Frank Sheptock concerned after the Hazelton game when they only had 51 plays in the game. Here he's at 34 at halftime on the trajectory for 68. He'll be happy with that. Let's look at the 90 yards in the running game. Evan Klinger is the leading rusher, 11 carries for 42 yards. But Alex Force is right behind him. The young quarterback, finesse running, more efficient, 5 rushes for 40 yards. Owen Shoemaker lost a yard. Damon Beckhorn on a reverse play gained 9. And he's been looking tremendous. They only got him to 1 touch there. In the running game, they've been faking with him very effective. His touches come in the passing game. In the passing game, he has 6 of the 8 receptions for Berwick. Quarterback Alex Force is 6 of 14, no interceptions, 150 yards. Of the 8 completions, 6 by Beckhorn, 93 yards total there. A 25-yard touchdown pass, a 40-yard touchdown reception that brought him down to the goal line to set up the last score. 5 others of under 10 yards mixed in along with that. Actually, that makes 7 catches. I counted a little too fast. 7. So give him even more credit. Jared Watts got a 23-yarder in front of the safeties on a bullet thrown by Alex Force. And Joe Norse, going in the other direction, caught a 34-yarder, bringing it down to the red zone for Berwick to score. So impressive passing game with 150 yards, efficient running game with 90. Berwick with 240 yards, and they've held Dallas to just 20. Very impressive numbers for Berwick here at halftime.
They are, Andy, and I don't know which one's more impressive, the 20 or the 240, because I think this Dallas is a good defensive football team. They're stout, they tackle well, your execution has to be very, very sharp. Berwick's was.
It really is, and I think Berwick's mixing the play calling very well. I think they're using the talents of Alex Force. When you see such a mismatch in the numbers, you think, well, some running back is really going to town. But, Evan Klinger, a strong runner with 11 carries, has been held to 42 yards. But mix in the finesse running off of that as they key on him. Alex Force has 40 yards of his own. And then again, if they're keying to stop that north-south run so much, the play action pass, the rollout pass, the pocket passing, they can break them. They're looking strong.
17-0 Berwick at the half. Next Friday night, the Bulldogs take to the road to play Wyoming area at Jake Sobeski Stadium. The teams, as I mentioned earlier, split a pair of games last season. Warriors winning here at Crispin Field. Bulldogs taking the district semifinal at Wyoming area. The Warriors lost 14 starters from that team that finished 9-3. At the Wyoming Valley Conference preseason media day, we asked Warriors coach Randy Spencer if he considers this a rebuilding year.
The type of year we had, that outstanding group of seniors, I think we had 17 or 18 seniors, and the majority of them contributed significantly. Again, an outstanding year as it stands, but we really feel that with some of the experienced leadership, we returned 2 4-year starters in P.J. Angeli and Mark Anthony Minichello. If they can stay healthy, they're as experienced and talented as players we feel there are in the conference this year, and they really present an opportunity for that mature, experienced leadership at the top, which is critical for building a team. So between that element and also the returning freshmen that we had. We had 4 freshmen that ended up working their ways into, if not starting positions, playing significant roles. Majority of those players were skilled players. So, I feel and our staff feels that that being the nucleus and also the developing players we had behind playing that were right there in terms of their development and growth last year, that were, there were some talented seniors playing in front of them. We feel with the combination of that, we can strive to be not just competitive, but again, hopefully maintain the level that we achieved and potentially grow from there.
You lost heavily on the offensive line, linemen and tight end. Is that going to be a work in progress?
Absolutely. I think that's the focus of what we need to work on and again, develop. Damon Barheit will be the senior, the one returning player that was a starting defensive lineman, and then his role grew offensively as the year went on. So we'll return Damon as that player to build around. We had a few other players get in and get some game time last year at the end of the season, but we're also bringing 2 hybrids from the tight end position where they worked as sophomore into the interior. And as we normally do with the size of our program the last few years, we have to look at some of those players that start off as possibly fullbacks or tight ends and look at their growth and development and really try to blend them into our mix if they're really the best fit, in terms of a team perspective up front. And we've done that over the years, and we're certainly going to look to do that this year, and hopefully that's going to help us get where we need to be up front offensively.
Let's talk defense. Who do you figure to be some of your best defenders?
Defenders coming back, first 2 are, again, P.J. Angeli has played safety the last few years. We looked for him to play a more versatile role, whether it be at safety, drop down to a strong safety, possibly an outside linebacker, or even in the interior on the second level. Mark Anthony Minichello, probably our most dynamic skill player, has played corner for the last 4 years for us. If he's healthy, he'll be back there. We have a senior in Rob Trattini, and at a corner who's worked very well in the offseason. We have our one starting corner who was a freshman last year, Darren Rodney, who we're looking to move into a safety position and be versatile with him. And also Brian Williams, who's a very talented player last year, made some splash plays on special teams before he got hurt. He's growing into a role defensively at a corner. And also Dominic DeLuca, another one of those young guys last year that grew into a significant role. Those are the guys that we have working in at those spots, and we think a combination of those guys on the second level. We returned both of our linebackers. Dylan Kostak obviously got hurt for us in the second half of the year, so Justin Joseph stepped in and played at linebacker as a junior alongside a sophomore, Corey Marook, who started since about the second game of the season. So we bring those 2 guys back as returning starters. We have a couple edge defenders that we feel are going to be pretty strong, whether they're on the ball or off, in Cameron Carr, who's long, lengthy. He's about 6'4", runs pretty well. And an athletic Shane Eslick steps in in his brother spot, that outside backer, edge support end. Jimmy Eslick, who had an outstanding year last year. Shane's a similar type of dynamic and skill set, also very, very athletic. So we feel that those guys have the ability to hold those spots down. And on the interior, we're hoping to build that rotation that we had last year. A combination of a bigger type of nose guard and a smaller, quicker type of linebacker type of nose guard working in, and also bigger tackles that will play on the interior, and hopefully be able to roll those guys in and keep them fresh. So again, as the game wears on, we also have a little bit in our tank offensively.
That's Randy Spencer, the head coach of the Warriors of Wyoming area, the team that Berwick will face next Friday night at West Pittston and Jake Sobeski Stadium. Randy, in his 10th season as the head coach of the Warriors. Tonight, they lead Crestwood at the half. It's Wyoming area 18 and Crestwood 14. Some other scores, halftime, Southern Columbia 35 and Bloomsburg nothing. Danville christening their new artificial turf at Ironman Stadium, locked in a 13-13 tie with South Williamsport at the break. Central Columbia in the second, leading Lewisburg 21-0 as the Blue Jays, under former Berwick assistant Scott Dennis, look to go to 2-0 in the season. Other halftime scores, Nanticoke 36, Columbia Montreville Tech 6, and Northwest leading Lake Lehman by a score of 19-7. Here, it is Berwick leading Dallas by a score of 17-0, as the Bulldogs completely dominating that first half. And 3 terrific drives, especially consider that last one. It looked like, and I think, Andy, a lot of teams would have gone in with the 14-0 lead and just not try to press the issue. But Berwick had timeouts left. They know they have a great kicker in Ken Marshman, and they know they have a hot quarterback in Alex Force. 2 passes equaling 63 yards, they get the field goal.
Yeah, it was patient at first at the start of the drive, and Dallas is taking time out, saying maybe we get this back and get our opportunity. But 1 run, 2 runs, and then the third run where Evan Klinger had to break a tackle, break another, force his way, get to the chains. At that point, you're saying, well, we're out of the danger zone. There's not that much time. Let's throw one down the middle. And Frank Shepdock sends it in, and Alex Forrest delivers the short post. Very, very nicely to Jared Watts. Dallas had been playing at safeties deep throughout the game. So at about 20 yards downfield, he's still in front of them, and he just, nice low pass down the middle of the field. He catches it and is tackled there. And then they come back with a deeper pass. This time the safeties cheat up on the short post. And there is the ever-dangerous Damon Beckhorn on the deeper post. Catches it, and as he's making the catch, jumping in the air, manages to think of the sidestep move. As soon as he comes down, the safety misses him. They chase him down and stop him at the goal line. Looked like Berwick would have had a touchdown out of that, but they end up settling for a field goal after the penalties.
Last year, Berwick had a host of receivers, and they lost, as far as receptions go, they lost the top 5 off that team from a year ago. And yet, receiver might be one of the strongest aspects of this football team this year.
I'll agree. When you have a standout receiver like a Damon Beckhorn, teams have the choice. Do we try to play him one-on-one? Well, they can't. He's just too good of an athlete. Now, if you go over and you try to double team him, well, where's that extra man coming from? Is he coming out of pass coverage? Is he coming out of run defense? That causes matchup problems. Berwick has shown it as other people who can catch passes. On the year, we've seen Jake Seeley with the catch, Jared Watts with 3, Joe Norris with the catch. And they have people who can go up and make it happen. And I don't think we've seen the whole repertoire of the ability you can get out there and receive the ball. They haven't thrown that much yet to the backs. Evan Klinger has 2 catches on the year. Shoemaker has 1. Hasn't been part of today's game plan, but it will in the future.
Dallas will get the football to start this second half. They'll move from our right to our left. Berwick with a 17-0 lead. Ken Marshman has kicked off twice in this game, and both have been touchbacks.
Both in this direction. 2 Dallas players back on the 2. If they have to step back any further to catch it, they'll get it in the end zone, and you're not running it out of there.
Christian Motley, Matt Moransky deep. Second half is underway. Marshman again.
Wow.
8 yards deep again and through the end zone. 3 kickoffs and 3 touchbacks for Berwick's senior kicker, Ken Marshman.
Let's see what kind of football they're using. Kicked it right into the crowd, and now they're sending someone to try to get that football back. Sometimes they use kicking balls that go a little further than the normal game ball, which is brand new.
I don't know if I've seen 3 consecutive touchbacks by a high school kicker.
That's unbelievable.
Maybe I have, but I don't recall.
I don't recall it.
1st and 10 Dallas. They have it at their own 20-yard line. They trail 17-0. Just underway here in the second half. I formation behind the quarterback, Michael Starbuck. Back to throw off play action, fires a pass, diving attempt, incomplete the 28-yard line. Pass beyond the reach of Jack Farrell, who made a good effort. Couldn't come up with it. 2nd and 10 Mountaineers.
They had success with that same play and around the same spot of the field earlier in the game. Farrell on the right side at tight end is going to cross at the linebacker level, but run past each of them here to the near side. Just couldn't finish with the pass and catch.
Second down and 10 for the Mountaineers. From their 20. Starbuck under center with an I formation behind him. Kelly is the tailback. Toss sweep to him. Tries the right side. Letting Kelly looking for some running room. Hasn't had much tonight, but he gets over the 25 to the 26-yard line. Good effort by him. We have third down and 4 coming for Dallas.
Jimmy LeGrand eventually getting the arms and spinning him to the ground. And I think that's what Dallas needs to do, though. Their bread and butter is their running game. Even though it was stymied in the first half, or it's tough to run against Berwick, that's what's going to make or break your season. Maybe you don't beat Berwick. You got to get that on track, and there they got it going with Lenny Kelly in a good 7-yard burst. Third
down and 3, Mountaineers. Schuster is the sidecar to the left of Starbuck, who operates out of the gun. Back to throw, looking. Now he's going to keep the football, and he's brought down the 26-yard line. J.J. Snyder among the people for Berwick, closing quickly.
Yeah, Jimmy LeGrand also playing the middle there as the quarterback tries to step up. And it's not the strength of Dallas, and while it was a 4 yards that they needed and you think pass, I think they have a better opportunity to get that trying their running game.
Tegan Wilk, who had a nice 16-yard punt return, back deep along with Evan Klinger. Nate Moransky's kick high and deep and picked off by Wilk, and he is buried in a crowd at the Berwick 49-yard line.
They're getting into tough communication situations. They need to scream for people to get out of the way. A blocker coming downfield was in the area where the ball was going to bounce. Tegan Wilk is looking. I can feel this on the bounce. If I don't, it may hit that man. He's surrounded by the white jerseys, but he knows they don't have momentum to put a hit on him. So he takes the risk to catch it cleanly on the bounce rather than the risk of letting it bounce and hit another player.
First and 10, Berwick. Their first possession of the second half. They lead 17-0. 10:28 to go in the third. They move from our left to our right. Force out of the gun. Has the snap. Gives the ball to Evan Klinger. Klinger started out right. Then cut it inside, and David Schuster closes quickly, brings him down right at the line of scrimmage. Schuster, good look at inside linebacker, 5'8", 180 pounds, senior with a good stop. Second and 10, Bulldogs at their 49.
The strength of Dallas is against Berwick's straight-ahead running game. And Berwick wants to get that going, even though it's a tough defense. They want the Evan Klinger, Owen Shoemaker running game to work.
Here's the call, going to Klinger off the right side. Has a little bit of room this time, gets to the 47-yard line of the Mountaineers. Dylan Schuster, the younger brother of David, comes from the secondary to make the play. So Berwick facing a third down at about 6 from the Dallas 47.
Wide side of the field to the left, where you have the double receivers. Singleton receiver here on the near side. The short side is Beckford.
Slot to the left side as Force on third down. Back to throw. Pump fake. Plenty of time. Fires over the middle. Incomplete. Beckhorn, the closest man there. Good coverage downfield by Lenny Kelly. Good defensive stand by Dallas to start this second half. Berwick with good field position, but they're going to have to punt.
And they'll punt Dallas into poor field position if they get the nice roll or get the good coverage. Of course, they've had a high snap, and Sharkutsky's been forced to run with the ball once.
Lenny Kelly deep for the Mountaineers. Alex Sharkusky back at the Berwick 40-yard line. Awaiting the snap. It's there. And then the kick is deflected and picked up by Motley. Motley on the run down that far sideline. The 20, the 15, the 10. Tegan Wilk finally drives him out inside the 10-yard line. Big special teams play by Dallas to start this second half. There is a flag down on the play on the return.
On the return and well downfield from the point of the block punt. They decided after the high snap to pressure the punter. They came with 2 people hard on the right, 2 people hard on the left, converging. I thought Sharkusky was going to get it off, but it was Chris Murray who dove and got the hand on that. He bounced it over toward the Dallas side of the field where it was picked off, as you mentioned, Jim. breaking tackles and a nice return. And, holding on the return will bring it back some. So instead of down around the 10-yard line, spotted about the 25.
They're still
moving up
going.
a lot. Yep.
Still going. 36-yard line of Berwick. So that's a significant penalty, but Dallas in great field position at the Berwick 36 with 9:11 remaining in this third quarter, and Berwick leading this one by a score of 17-0.
Two mistakes in the punting game allowed Dallas to have opportunities. The one where the punter was forced to run with it after a high snap, and this time with a good snap. Dallas coming in and blocking it.
Starbuck out of the gun for the Berwick 36. Slot to the right side. Starbuck, quarterback draw, looking for room, has a little, and gets some blocking, gets to the 30-yard line.
Ball.
And Berwick indicating they have the ball. No official scrum. It looks like a rugby game going on right now. And Berwick has the football.
Trying to catch the number. Is it Parks? Is it Malik McMillan? 19 coming
Alex
up.
Parks.
They stripped it out of him while he was standing, Jim. The quarterback delayed very, very well and got a great surge as his line fake blocking, let people wide, and then surged ahead in a wedge. It worked well. They had about 8-9 yards, but they never were able to sort of bring him down. While he's standing, Berwick rips at the ball, and I believe it's Parks who rips at it while they haven't stood up. He spins away, and all of a sudden the scrum goes from one side to the other side on the live ball, taken out of the standing quarterback's hands.
Berwick with the football at their own 34-yard line is the call. Straight ahead, gain of a couple. Clock runs, 8:48 to go in this third quarter. Berwick leading by a score of 17-0.
I missed a play altogether. Jim, was it a quarterback sneak?
Now it was Evan Klinger.
Evan Klinger.
And they're giving him 3 to the 37-yard line, second down and 7.
Give him 50 yards on the game. Berwick tries to establish its north-south running game.
Force out of the gun. Slot to the left after a shift. Norse, the tight end on the left. And Joey Lynn right off his left shoulder. The call goes to Klinger. Great cut. Gets out to the 45, the 46-yard line for a first down. Evan Klinger cut on the dime at the 40-yard line. Kept that run going. They give him 8 yards and a Berwick first down at the 45.
Shifted the formation to the left and then started him that way, and then a cut back around the right side. Some nice moves downfield, weaving his way.
Slot to the right side, wide receiver left. Now Beckhorn comes in motion. Force is going to keep the ball himself, and nothing there. He'll be wrapped up right at the line of scrimmage.
Michael Anderson's the big man on the other side, 6'2", 280 pounds. So when he wraps you up, he really can wrap you up. They'll keep the progress at the line of scrimmage on that.
Second down and 10. Berwick at their own 45-yard line. Clock running, 7:35 remaining in the third. Bulldogs trying to open the season 2-0 and leading Dallas 17-0. Two receivers to the left, one to the right. Force out of the gun. Beckhorn in motion again. The call goes to Klinger. Klinger up the middle. Klinger running hard. We'll get to about the 49-yard line. Picked up about 4. Third down and 6 coming for the Bulldogs.
Very physical play. Klinger runs hard. Linebackers come up and wrap the arms hard, stand them up, twist them down. Good play on the inside. Gritty football both ways.
Berwick looks to the sideline for the play call. Third down call coming.
3 receivers to the left in this passing down. One flexed here to the right.
And Klinger, the running back to the right of Alex Force, who has the snap. Big pass rush, gets the pass away, incomplete. Just off the fingertips of Devin Noor at the 48. Would have had to run for about 4 more after that for the first down. So good stand by Dallas defensively. And they've played pretty tough. Berwick, remember, scored on their first 2 possessions. Since that time, the Mountaineers have been tough. And the Bulldogs will be in a punt situation from their own 49.
They have all the right people then. 3 coming off late, no huddle. I guess that's legal.
Will Decker is doing the long snapping for the Bulldogs. Cherkowski back at the 36. Dallas blocked the last one. This time the kick is away barely. Murray almost got another one. Fielded it on the high hop by Moransky, who tries to get outside right. Great coverage downfield by Berwick, and he will be short of the 30-yard line.
There was wonderful coverage. Wonderful coverage. It was Alex Parks, I believe, yes it was, who had him isolated, grabbed the jersey, wouldn't let him go. And then all the other dark blue jerseys come on in and help bring him down.
Dallas is shut out to this point. 6:19 to go in the third. They trail Berwick 17-0. They had two great opportunities, taking over in Berwick territory and a blocked kick and a bad snap. But Berwick defense was up to the task. Now the Mountaineers from their own 26-yard line with a 1st and 10. An I formation behind the quarterback, Michael Starbuck. Starbuck gives the ball to Kelly with a burst. He has a hard run over the 30 to 32-yard line.
It's what we expected from Dallas, but we haven't seen it with the continual attempt. They give it to him, to Kelly, guy who had 200 yards last week. Gets the blocking at the first level and then drags linebackers or breaks arm tackles and gets a 7-8 yard run. But they're not staying with that game plan.
2nd and 3, Mountaineers from their own 33-yard line. David Schuster is the fullback ahead of Lenny Kelly in the I formation. Starbuck gives to Kelly again, this time the left side. Has the first down and then some. Tegan Wilk brings him down from behind, but not before Lenny Kelly gets over the 40 near the 42-yard line.
You got to go to your horse. I like the theory here. Went to him, he got 7. Go to him again the other way. Moves the chains and almost breaks by Tegan Wilk.
10 yards on that carry by Lenny Kelly. Dallas trails 17-0, but lots of time left in this one. 5.5 minutes to go in the third. As they have a slot to the left side. Again, the I formation. Starbuck toss sweep to Kelly. Trying the right side. This time Berwick is on the play. And he'll be brought down.
Linebacker Joey Lynn, he saw it. He shot that gap going up the sweeping angle, and his defensive end gave contain. He went up the chute and made a very nice play, dropping for a loss of 1.
2nd down and 11. Hazelton at the half, leading Wyoming Valley West 10-3. Mountaineers trying to rebound from that loss to Berwick last week. Here it is, a 2nd and 11 for Dallas from the 42-yard line. Back to throw. Starbuck fires to Kelly. Incomplete. Nice defensive work by the Bulldogs' Malik McMillan, who went up high, matched the jump of Farrell, knocked it away, and that'll be 3rd down and 11 for Dallas.
Malik McMillan impressed me last week. Rangy at that corner or safety, whichever he's playing at the time. 6'2", 178, but he sort of stays on his man very well. He's comfortable in that type of coverage. They're on the far sideline, bats that one away.
3rd and 11, Dallas from the 42. Starbuck out of the gun. Sophomore has the snap. The left-hander dishes it out here. He has Schuster, the fullback at the 45. Schuster to the 50. Schuster, good effort into Berwick territory, but they'll be a couple of yards short of the first down. They're near midfield. In fact, they're across midfield, but they look like they're going to bring the punt team on. Andy, we talked earlier about how outstanding Berwick's starting secondary is, but as we've seen tonight, not only are they outstanding, but this is a deep secondary as well. McMillan came off the bench. Ryan Lawbaugh has come off the bench. They both played well.
Very impressively.
Here comes Nate Moransky with the punt. It's a beauty. High and deep, and Wilk will field it on a high hop at the 10-yard line, and Tegan Wilk will get to the 20 and to the 21-yard line.
And a late flag. Probably something unsportsmanlike after the tackle. Wilk does go high like a basketball player to catch that on the bounce. He doesn't want to allow the roll to take it inside the 5. And And with that jump and forward momentum, he brings it upfield. So instead of the punt that's sort of bouncing around the 10 going inside the 5, he progresses it 10 yards further upfield near the 20. Little confab of our officials on this one as to how they saw this. Did one see a push and the other see a shove afterwards? It was a late flag as the players seemed to be, leaving the field of play. Here's Earl Harris.
Central Columbia leading 38-6 at the half over Lewisburg. We're going to have offsetting penalties. Is that how I read it?
Yeah, personal foul each way. No movement of the football. 1st and 10 Berwick from the end of the run.
The Bulldogs will have it at their 21-yard line. 3:40 remaining third quarter. And Berwick leading Dallas 17-0.
Both offenses trying to get their north-south downhill running game going. Both defenses doing a pretty good job preventing it.
Owen Shoemaker is the running back on this series. He's to the right of Alex Force. Junior quarterback out of the gun, has the snap, gives to Shoemaker. Straight ahead, and we'll get maybe a yard or 2 on the play. Second down coming up.
Nothing there. He dropped his head and tried to bullet ahead. Rather than losing a yard, he'll gain a long 1, a short 2. Only his second carry of the game.
Ball at the 22-yard line. Second down and 9 for the Bulldogs. Scored touchdowns on their first 2 possessions of this game, but haven't gotten into the end zone since, although they came very, very close late in the half when Damon Beckhorn caught a pass over the middle. Headed toward the end zone, just brought down at the 1-yard line. Bulldogs eventually settled for a field goal by Ken Marshman, the last play of the half. Out of the gun. Force back to throw. Fires over the middle, and a diving catch at the 35-yard line by Jared Watts.
Nice. Alex Force able to loft it just over the hand of a jumping linebacker, about 10 yards past the line of scrimmage. Watts, he sees us open behind that, has to slide to make the catch, but he does.
13 yards on the reception. First down, Berwick. Bulldogs at their own 35. Beckhorn in that half-moon motion, but the call goes to Owen Shoemaker, who runs hard. He gets a good gain. I think there'll be at least 5 tacked onto this. I think they had a face mask.
He's tough to bring down. You're grabbing for whatever you can. He's a bull when he gets himself going downfield. A good low center of gravity. Drops the shoulder. Enjoys the collision. Shrugs one man off. Shrugs another one off as he's knocked out of bounds. But is this against Berwick, Jim? They're bringing it all the way back.
It's a holding call. I was anticipating the inadvertent face mask, but they ignore that, and the call goes against Berwick back to the 25, bringing up first down and 20.
We'll bring up a first and 20 for the 25.
Slot to the left side. Beckhorn wide right. Comes in motion. Beckhorn takes the handoff, hit behind the line, breaks free. Now he's going to reverse his field, looking for some blocking. Nothing there. Still on his feet. He's way back inside the 15 before he's dragged out of bounds.
And there's a hold on top of it.
And another flag. One flag will be a warning, a sideline warning against Berwick.
Yeah, there's probably going to be a hold as he was dancing. He's coming in one direction, and Chris Murray, who's chasing the play, dives at him, tries to trip him up, and throws him off a little bit. He gets around it, changes direction, comes back again toward where the center snap would have been, where the quarterback is. Chris Murray, who's prone on the ground, reaches again to trip him up, throws him off stride, but he makes it to the sideline. He reverses his field and backs up once more. Then the holding flag comes out. So it's a disastrous play. Big loss by Beckhorn. Tack on the hold from the point of that, which was deep. It's probably a half the distance to the goal from the point of the hold.
First and 27 for the Bulldogs. You know, obviously Damon should have cut his losses there, but when you're as athletic as he is, you always think, I can get out of this. Here's the first and long is the give. Left side, Owen Shoemaker brought down. Hit hard. No gain on the play at the 8-yard line. Clock runs. We're under 2 minutes to go in this third quarter. Berwick leading Dallas by a score of 17-0.
Dallas pursues well. It's a young, enthusiastic team. They were listing 6 sophomore starters on defense, 5 sophomore starters on offense. They're playing tough-nosed football. You wouldn't look at them and think they're young. They're not confused, and they don't back off any.
Second and 37. Back to throw is Forrest trying to set up an inside screen. It goes incomplete, intended for Owen Shoemaker.
Shoemaker's looking back like, why are you throwing to me, or why are you waiting for us to set this up? Well, when you're in the end zone and the rush is coming, you got to get it off when you can. He's avoiding the safety, and that's what he did.
Frank Sheptock looking in the playbook for all the good plays on 3rd and 37.
Yeah, that one's way in the back of the playbook. I still like the quick kick.
Trips to the right, wide receiver left. Force out of the gun, has the snap, back to the goal line, slips a pass to Robbins, who makes the catch and gets out to the 24-yard line. Justin Robbins with the catch, 16 yards altogether, and makes for a more reasonable punting situation for the Bulldogs.
Lenny Kelly, one of the safeties, we've mentioned how deep they're playing. And with this long down and distance, they're practically in a prevent. Now we'll see the safeties as safeties to catch the punts.
Look for Dallas to come after the punt. They got one earlier.
Chris Murray was the man, and he just missed one after that. He's lining up wide here on the left. He's the one to keep your eye on.
Alex Sharkuski back for the Bulldogs, back at the Berwick 11-yard line. Good snap by Will Decker. Kick is away. High. And Kelly, trying to make an over-shoulder catch, has to go down and fall on it at the 36-yard line. So a nice effort by Sharkuski. And Berwick comes out of that pretty well as Dallas will take over at their 36 with 30.3 seconds to go in this third quarter, and Berwick leading Dallas 17-0.
Lenny Kelly is a wonderful talent, but he is still young. You're trying to catch that when you're sort of running backward and trying to one-hand it. Sometimes you just got to give up that type of thing and let it bounce and give up the ground. He was able to tap it back and then fall on it. Now, it didn't hurt his team, but the coaches are probably going to instruct them a little bit on that decision.
Here come the Mountaineers. Kelly in a slot left comes in motion. Back to throw. Starbuck fires too high for his intended target. Jack Farrell at the 46-yard line. Some score updates. End of the third quarter. Southern Columbia 42, Bloomsburg nothing. Third quarter, Danville and South Williamsport locked in a 20-20 tie. We gave you earlier at the half, Hazleton area leading Wyoming Valley West by a score of 10-3. Here it's 17-0 Berwick. Closing seconds, third quarter. Dallas 2nd and 10 at their 36. Starbuck, the sophomore under center, I formation behind him. Kelly's the tailback. David Schuster ahead of him. Fake to Kelly. Starbuck lobs a pass to Schuster, who drops it at the 35-yard line. Started to turn upfield before he had it in his grasp. So it's going to be a 3rd and 10. Mountaineers at their 36.
And it had potential. You know, with the screen, everything is timing. And it's never timed precisely the way you want it to. I thought the quarterback got it out there nicely for him. But Schuster, as you said, knew he had the wall in front of him, wanted to get it, wanted to get his eyes upfield before finishing the actual catch.
Will Decker, Eric Montez check into the Berwick defensive front. They'll get some smaller, quicker linemen to chase the quarterback on 3rd and 10. Starbuck under center. I formation behind him. Play action. Back to throw. Sets his feet to the far side, going up and making a great grab inside the 45, over the 42-yard line in Berwick territory.
Luke Delgadio, Jim, came down with that, and he was covered very, very nicely, I thought. He went high. He was able to turn while the defender's back was to the play. He went up high, came down, tapped the foot down, and gives a big first down to Dallas.
23 yards on the reception. And Dallas in Berwick territory at the 42-yard line. Delgadio wide to the right. I formation. Starbuck under center. Has the snap. Gives the ball to Kelly. Gets a block or two, and then is stood up at the 40-yard line. Gain tackle there. And push back on what will be the final play of this third quarter. 3 in the books here at the home opener of the Bulldogs. They lead Dallas 17-0. You're listening to Berwick Football on NEPAfootball.com. So 2 yards for Kelly on the final play of that third quarter. And this is really a must-score possession for Dallas.
To stay in the game, they have to make it happen here. And they did a wonderful conversion on 3rd and long. Here, the quarterback, Michael Starbuck, looks a little undersized when he's in that pocket. A little lefty in there. You know he's young. He's only a sophomore, yes, 5'9", 160 pounds. But he's been efficient. He knows the plays. They've worked things where he gets to roll. I think he's done some effective running. He gets it near his receivers. And that pass down there, Delgadio had to be a confidence builder.
And he is a good ball handler.
Yeah.
Frank Sheptock mentioned that. His ball fakes, the play action, very, very good. And I know one of the best I ever saw at that was Glenn McNamee, quarterback at Bloomsburg University. And I became friends with him later, but I told him he ruined more of my touchdown calls by his great ball fakes and me not knowing where the ball was. Fortunately for Bloomsburg, neither did the opposition. It's a big weapon for a quarterback if they can handle it that well.
And a lot of people don't think about it enough. Carry out that fake, continue with it. If you have a system that allows for you to put it on your hip on the roll and you can do the running yourself, I think he's timed his quarterback draws well. He's very well suited for the system he's in.
Dallas starts the fourth quarter at the Berwick 40. 2nd down and 8. They trail 17-0. Starbuck, play action. Back to throw. Big pass rush. Gets the pass away. Knocked down, incomplete. Noah Craig, the linebacker, made the play. Now there's a flag down way back at the 12-yard line.
Well, they might have felt it was interference. He was on him quickly, and he had to reach around and punch it away. The fans think that's what the call is. I can't see what else they'd consider unless one wants to overrule the other and say there's no flag. Let's see. Here's Earl Harris. Talk to us, Earl. It's going to go against Berwick. Personal foul, sideline warning. That's their second.
Penalty flag was a sideline warning.
Oh, that is a 15-yard penalty and a first down. So instead of 3rd and 8, Dallas with a first down at their 25-yard line.
I thought the flag was thrown from the middle of the field, though. So I don't know who made the call.
So Dallas with a great opportunity here early in the fourth. They need a score to get back in it. Starbuck under center. He gives the ball to Kelly. Lenny Kelly has some running room. Kelly inside the 20 to the Berwick 18-yard line. Noah Craig from his linebacker position making the stop. Berwick will get 4 defensive replacements in there for this second down play. 2nd and 3 after the 7-yard run by Kelly.
I like the call. I think they need to lean on him a little bit more. Starbuck's talented, but that's not the game plan. The game plan for this team is to establish that running back. He's had a very strong second half when they've let him run. I think they're passing a little too frequently, but maybe they feel time's a factor.
Slot to the left side, I formation for the 18-yard line. Starbuck rolling left. Norse in pursuit gets the pass away. Completion for short yardage to the 15-yard line. They'll pick up just 3 on the reception.
David Schuster with the catch. Got it not far beyond the line of scrimmage and continually being forced toward the sideline. They're going to give him a first down, just enough for the chains as the quarterback rolling left makes an easy, soft left-handed toss, which helps by going in that direction.
1st and 10. Dallas at the Berwick 15-yard line. Mountaineers need 7 to keep in this game. They trail 17-0. Farrell, the tight end to the left. Slot to the right side. Starbuck under center. Gives the ball to Kelly. Kelly has running room. Kelly inside the 10, down around the 5-yard line.
A bit of a finesse run. His fullback went one way, he went the other with the delay. But the delay, the movement sort of moved linebackers going. They were leaning in the wrong direction. And he got himself going on a nice seam on the inside. Bursted ahead for 10.
1st and goal, Dallas at the 5-yard line. Berwick pitching a shutout, 10:47 to go in the 4th. But Dallas just 5 yards away from getting back in this game. Schuster, the fullback, ahead of Kelly in the I formation. Starbuck from the 5 has the snap, gives the ball to Kelly off the left side. Kelly driving the legs and a stop back. Evan Klinger with a good defensive play for the Bulldogs. Little or no gain on the play.
Maybe a yard or so. It looked like he'd have more. It's I formation, but it's not power football. It's I formation with finesse. Fullback seems to go one way. It's almost a delayed handoff to the tailback who's deep. They managed to get that seam open. But that time, Evan Klinger filling it quickly.
2nd and goal. Yard gain there for Kelly from the Berwick 4-yard line. Starbuck has the snap. Back to throw, rolling right, fires to the end zone, has a man, it goes off his hands. Delgadio couldn't bring it down, pass a little bit high. Dallas went to a pass on 2nd and goal from the 4, and now it is 3rd down and goal. Clock stops, 9:46 to go in the game.
A little surprised, but it surprised Berwick. The man was open in the corner of the end zone. The quarterback, Michael Starbuck, delivered it to him, but he just didn't look like he had the ability. His hands crossed a little bit, and it got away from him.
Dallas will use a timeout. They know how important it is for them to get in the end zones. They want the right play. They have it at the Berwick 4-yard line. We have 9:46 to go in the 3rd. Berwick leading this one by a score of 17-0. Remember, this is a Dallas team that put 54 points on the board last week against Coughlin. This Berwick defense has been tough, but they'll have to make a goal line stand here.
They will, and it's been tough as Lenny Kelly has come alive in this drive. They've allowed him to carry it. A little surprised they went away from the running game with the pass, but I can't second guess the call. The receiver was in the corner of the end zone, but unable to sort of turn, face the play, keep his feet from getting tangled with themselves and make the catch all at the same time. But on the chalkboard, it certainly was there. Berwick's going to have to be aware of both run and pass. Ball's on the left hash. That's a disadvantage for the left-handed quarterback. He'd like to roll wide side, and it's just not the natural motion. You'd have to turn and square the shoulders awkwardly.
Big play, 3rd and goal. The Berwick 4-yard line, obviously 4-down territory for the Mountaineers, as Starbuck has the shotgun snap, keeps the ball himself, looks up the middle, and gets to about the 2-yard line, and that's all. So Berwick up to the task. 4th and goal coming for the Mountaineers with 9.5 minutes to go.
Evan Klinger stopped the touchdown. Wonderfully designed. It's been there and open. Quarterback had a little head of steam. People are coming at him from the sides, but Klinger squared. Put the helmet down and stopped him short.
4th and goal, Dallas at the 2-yard line. I formation. Schuster ahead of Kelly in the I. Starbuck under center, and we have a timeout called, I believe, by Berwick.
Yeah, I think Berwick coach ran all the way down to get the officials. Frank Sheptock wanted to talk to his team. He anticipates, he has a great history with Coach Rich Manello. It's not often where you see two guys who are head coaches at the collegiate level face each other as high school coaches then.
Yeah,
Coached against each other. Great stuff.
Talking to Rich Manell about that, he said, in Wilkes-Barre, we're coaching in the same town. We're a couple miles away from one another. We are at schools with similarities, and we exchanged a lot of information among one another, except, of course, when they played each other, which they did 14 times.
Families became close. It's the type of thing as a coach, you don't always have someone to talk to. They would call each other frequently on Sunday afternoons and let some steam off and commiserate with each other, and they become good friends.
17-0 Berwick. 9:07 to go in the game. Dallas's last hope in this game is to score on this play. 4th down and goal inside the Berwick 2-yard line. Following the Bulldog timeout. I formation. Starbuck under center. Starbuck gives the ball to Kelly. Kelly off the right side. Kelly is in for the touchdown. Lenny Kelly in off the right side for the score. Dallas stays in this game with 9:02 to go.
I like the call. I felt they should have gone with their best runner, their best play all along. He was spun at the goal line where the 40, the 4 of his 42 is in and the 2's not. The question is, where is the ball? It was in his left hand, so it broke the plane of the end zone. So Berwick fought hard on it.
Now, Nate Moransky will attempt the extra point. Snap, placement, kick is up, and the kick is good. Time out of the field, 9:02 remaining in the game. Berwick 17, Dallas 7. And a reminder, you're listening to Berwick Football on NEPAfootball.com. So good drive, 11 plays, 64 yards. There was a 23-yard pass to Luke Delgadio, and the next longest play was a 10-yard run by Lenny Kelly. He takes it in from the 2 for the score, and that is his 5th touchdown of the season. He had 4 rushing touchdowns. Last week in that win over Coughlin. So it's a score that Dallas had to have. And is it too early to think onside kick, trailing 17-7?
They're going against a standard defensive look by Berwick with just the 5 men up and everyone else a good bit deeper. I would consider it here.
Nate Moransky will kick it off. And Moransky goes long with it to the far side. Back at the 1-yard line is Tegan Wilk. Wilk to the 20. Flags flying all over the place. Wilk over the 30. Great run back. Over the 40. Still on his feet, out of bounds at the Berwick 47-yard line. But my guess is this one will come back.
Yeah, it'll be a blocking infraction. There's almost nothing that the kick coverage team can do outside of face masking.
And it looks like they're
2 holes
working on the leg of, is that Evan Klinger on the sideline?
Yes, it is.
Down
Number
below.
8. Looks like a cramp in the back of his left knee working up the thigh. He had a touchdown saving tackle on the 2nd or 3rd down of that drive, hitting the quarterback and preventing him from getting in.
So now this is going to be a big possession for both teams. Berwick, at the very least, would like to use some clock, get a couple of first downs, leading 17-7 with 8:50 to go. But they're going to start deep in their own territory after the penalty. Boy, if Dallas could make a hold here, they would figure to get good field position with plenty of time left in this game. Berwick's going to start at their own 9-yard line.
Is Evan Klinger in? They're now working on Tegan Wilk in that same area. Owen Shoemaker is in the backfield.
And Force will operate out of the gun from the 9-yard line. The call goes to Owen Shoemaker. Looks for room and breaks out of it to the 25, the 30, and forced out of bounds. Boy, it looked like he was stopped for nothing, and suddenly out of the pack, he burst for a huge first down.
Hit off the right side, and there was nothing there, but sometimes you run into your own lineman, there's no penetration. He popped out now on the left side, and already all the pursuit had gone beyond. Breaks on down, picks up the block of Jared Watts, and makes a wonderful run.
25 yards on the carry by Owen Shoemaker. Berwick's longest run of the night comes at a big time. Bulldogs get out of that hole deep in their own territory. Now from their 34-yard line. Shoemaker to the left of Force. Shoemaker the call. This time Dallas is all over the play. He'll lose yardage back to the 32-yard line.
David Schuster flying in hard from his defensive position. Penetration of 2 yards deep into the backfield. Blows up the play and gives Shoemaker nowhere to run.
They do give him to the line of scrimmage. 2nd down and 10. Berwick at the 34-yard line. Slot to the right side, wide receiver left. Forced play action, fires a quick out to Damon Beckhorn. He is caught and dropped for a loss. Chris Murray with a good open field tackle. So the completion for a loss of yardage back to the 31. So now 3rd and long, Berwick.
Murray's been a thorn in Berwick's side. Playing very, very tough defensively on a challenging receiver with Damon Beckhorn.
3rd and long, Bulldogs. Slot to the left, slot to the right. Force has the snap. Back to throw, fires over the middle. The ball is tipped and incomplete. It was intended for Jared Watts, and a good defensive play by Dallas's Sean Cuban, the linebacker. Got back there in secondary. Dallas gets a stop they really had to have. It was 7:35 to go. They'll get it back, trailing 17-7.
And now the ever dangerous punt. You have to get the clean snap. You have to get it away where it's not blocked. Punter's been forced to run with one and has had one blocked by Murray.
Cherkowski back at his 18-yard line. Snap is a good one. Gets the kick away. To the far side, takes a Berwick bounce, goes out of bounds. Nice effort by Alex Cherkowski.
Under pressure.
Dallas will take over about their own 37.
Murray was set on the right side and was coming hard with that dive, 2 steps in front of the punter, but just a step late.
So Dallas scored on their last possession. They get it here with plenty of time left. It's their own 37-yard line. Berwick leading 17-7. 7:27 remaining in the game.
I'd go with that I formation and run Lenny Jelly. There's time for that kind of a drive, but they're not going to listen to me. It's shotgun.
Evan Klinger is back in there for the Bulldogs. Starbuck back to throw, fires to the far side, has his man, but knocked out of bounds across the way at the 40, maybe the 41. Short gain on the play, about 4.
Looked like 29, Matt Moransky, but I don't know if that's his position. Far side, might have been Delgadio. Give him credit for that catch. They wanted to catch it and get that one-man screen. They'll stretch it for a 5-yard gain.
2nd down and 6 for the Bulldogs. Extra defensive back in there for this series. Berwick with that 10-point lead. 7:20 to go. Starbuck back to throw. Steps, fires over the middle, throws it too high.
Wilkes had it.
Wilk had it in his hands. Do they give him the interception?
I would.
think they do. I think they're saying he picked it off, and then the ball popped loose when he hit the ground. We'll check.
Boy, this is one they would put on the instant replay. I saw he had it, took a step, collided with another Berwick player while he had it in one hand. As he goes to the ground, it certainly pops out, and Berwick recovers. They'll call it an interception for Tegan Wilk.
I think it's the right call.
I do too. I would have called it, even if it was the other way. You know, it seemed to me he had clear possession of the ball and started running.
2nd interception of the young season for sophomore Tegan Wilk. That is a big turnover in the game. Berwick will take over at midfield with 7:14 to go, and the Bulldogs leading 17-7. So Wilk went high, got the ball, and it popped out when he hit the ground. And now what Berwick would love to do is get a couple of first downs and run that clock. Evan Klinger is back in there as the running back. He's to the left of Alex Force, who gets the shotgun snap and gives the ball to Klinger. Klinger has room inside the 45 of Dallas, down to the 41. Evan Klinger, a 9-yard burst, 2nd and 1 Bulldogs.
Good quick hitting on the play. Takes it from the shotgun snap from the quarterback. Gets it. He's convinced there will be a hole. Confident running. Busts for 9.
And he comes off limping noticeably. I think it's a cramp again. Yeah, he'll go to his stomach, and they'll work on that as Owen Shoemaker comes in as the running back, gets the ball, tries for the first down, breaks away from a tackler behind the line of scrimmage, tries to keep his feet and makes a great effort for a first down. Owen Shoemaker looked like he was going to get a 3 or 4 yard loss, kept those legs churning, and a big effort run by him, and a first down at the Dallas 39.
A lineman penetrated, might have been Michael Anderson, and they had to sort of step over and around him, and then Shoemaker gets to the line, puts the shoulder pads down, and drives for the chains.
From the Mountaineer 39, Force back to throw, pump fake, nothing there. Looking, fires the last moment, going up high and making the catch is Denver Noor. What a terrific catch by him. His first of the night. We've talked about Berwick's wide receivers and the great variety of talents they have there. Well, Noor just made a terrific play.
And the quarterback made a terrific play. Flushed out of the pocket, rolling to his left, the unnatural throwing angle. On the run with the step. As he steps with his left foot, he throws with the right arm. Gets it on target to Denver Noor, who can make that superb catch.
10 yards on the reception. 1st and 10, Berwick at the Dallas 29 as we go under 6 minutes remaining in the game. Out of the pistol formation, flags and whistles blow dead.
Umpire threw it from behind. They see movement, yes, on the part of Berwick.
Bulldogs have had their share of penalties. That'll be one negative, even if they hang on for the win here. 1st and 15. Berwick at the Dallas 34-yard line.
Yeah, Berwick has had a lot. So has Dallas, though. A lot of 1st and 15s in the course of this game. Don't want to have that. Handicap yourself at critical downs, critical parts of the game.
Owen Shoemaker is the running back, behind and to the right of Alex Force. Here comes Beckhorn in motion. The call goes to Shoemaker, and Shoemaker up the middle. Shoemaker inside the 20, driving those feet down to the 22-yard line.
Measure that one out, Jim. You can't underestimate the impact of Damon Beckhorn coming in motion. He's coming in motion. You're not sure when the snap is going to happen. The snap does happen. Your eyes are on Beckhorn. You're very wary of his talents. And then Shoemaker takes it up.
12 yards on the carry. Berwick from the 22-yard line. The call goes to Shoemaker. Has the first down and then some. Shoemaker to the 15. Shoemaker down to the 12-yard line.
He runs with intensity. He keeps those big legs chugging and pushing people. The chains again.
So 10 more yards for Owen Shoemaker. And a 1st and 10. Berwick trying to put this one away with 5:07 to go. Looking to add with 17-7 lead. The call goes to Shoemaker off the left side. Hit behind the line, breaks free, and forced out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. That was Chris Murray, who had the great penetration. He is a terrific linebacker, but Shoemaker right now hasn't played a lot this game, so he's fresh, where Dallas's defense is not.
Yeah, I think the fatigue factor. You mentioned how Frank Sheptuck wants to get a lot of plays in. He was disappointed with only 51 offensive snaps last week. He He was on pace for about 68. They're going at a good clip. It fatigues the defense.
2nd and 6 from the 9. Call goes to Shoemaker. Not much there this time, and he's brought down by a host of Dallas tacklers right about the line of scrimmage.
2 hands on the football when he sees himself being enveloped. Tacklers on every side of him. So significant there. He's aware of security of the football.
But the clock is on Berwick's side. 3rd and 6 at the 9. It's running. 4:27 to go. Bulldogs lead it 17-7. 3rd and 6. Force looks to the sideline. They're going to use all the play clock, which is down to 4, 3, 2, and then they're going to call timeout. So they used up as much time as they could, called their second timeout, and they'll talk about this 3rd and 6 with 4:08 to play.
17-7. If you come up short, is the field goal the way to go? 20-7. Well, you need 2 touchdowns. Field goal and a touchdown would tie you now if you come up short. See how Frank Sheptock thinks he's smarter at football than I am. First thing you want to do is make it here.
Final score, first of the evening, Southern Columbia rolls over Bloomsburg, 49-0 is the final there. Here it is 17-7, Berwick leading Dallas. Bulldogs 3rd down and 6 at the 9-yard line. And again, the Ken Marshman factor, I mean, you want the touchdown here, but you can be conservative. You don't have to try anything of any risk, knowing that you've probably got 3 in your back pocket.
Ball's on the left hash, wide side of the field to the right. I'm sure they talked to Alex Force if this is a passing play. No interceptions. Throw it away if you have to.
That corn in motion. The call goes to Shoemaker. Shoemaker on the run. Hit hard as he got to the 5-yard line. Good pursuit by Dallas. Multiple tacklers.
Now the decision gets harder, though, Jim. He's closer to the touchdown.
Even with Ken Marshman, you probably go for it here because if you don't make it, Dallas has a long way to go and they're down 10.
They're down 10 with 3:39, and I think you'll wait this whole clock out. They have 16 seconds on the timer.
4th and 2. Berwick from the 5-yard line. Force out of the gun. That corn in motion. Call goes to Shoemaker. Shoemaker breaks out of a tackle. Shoemaker ahead, close to the 1st down yardage.
I believe he's going to have it unless they don't have the chain stretched properly.
Boy, what an effort. What an effort by him. He's had an attitude drive running the football.
Yep. And it is a 1st down.
1st and goal, Berwick. 3:20 to go.
Shoemaker may have iced it, Jim, and I agree with you. Attitude drive. Type of runner runs with a lot of determination. He has the good bulk to go along with that. Smart runner, picks his seams. Boy, when it crowds up, he just finishes with a strong drive.
Now the call goes to Shoemaker again. Shoemaker off the right side. Shoemaker is in for the touchdown. Owen Shoemaker in for the clincher for the Bulldogs with 3:04 to go.
Powerful run. He's the man of the drive. His teammates congratulating him. Effective, I have him with 61 yards on the night, including that touchdown burst. I have Evan Klinger with 71. And add another 40 for quarterback Alex Forrest, as Berwick's been rather versatile in its running game with a lot of people contributing.
Ken Marshman, perfect in extra points and field goals to this point of the season. His kick is blocked.
Murray
spoke too soon. So Murray, who blocked the punt earlier, blocks the extra point. There's time on the field with 3:04 to go. Berwick 23, Dallas 7. You're listening to Berwick Football on NEPAfootball.com. And Andy, you talk about impact plays by the defense. Keegan Wilkes' interception at midfield was Berwick's 3rd interception so far this season. All 3 led to Berwick touchdowns.
It's important. It's important. We mentioned the strength of this secondary, the depth in this secondary. guy like Keegan Wilkes, who's not on the offensive side of the ball, can really focus there and, play 100% every play. He has tremendous ability, and he showed it on the interception.
Wilkes with his second interception of this young season sets up Berwick at midfield. They go 10 plays for the score. Owen Shoemaker, the main man on that drive, he finishes it with a 2-yard touchdown run. And Berwick leading 23-7, just 3:04 to go. Marshman, 3 touchbacks in this game. This one won't make it. Line drive kick headed out of bounds. And Dallas will have good field position with just 3:04 to go.
You like kicking the other way better, Jim, from left to right rather than from right to left. Now, while the other touchbacks were coming out to the 20, this one that rolls out of bounds will come out to the 35-yard line. Maybe a little rattled after a kick was blocked. One of the things they'll look at on the film, I noticed on his extra points and other plays that the defense coming in had the opportunity for blocks a number of times. Now, sometimes it's just the strength of a team like Dallas, who has a talented player who's great at blocking them, like Murray. And sometimes there might be a weakness in your scheme or a weak player within what you have out there. But they haven't been automatics from the sense that blockers were coming in a little too close. Finally, they got to one.
Dallas from their 35. Quarterback keeper Starbuck out of shotgun. He'll pick up 4 to the 39-yard line. I understand Central Columbia now up 45-6 over Lewisburg. Danville in 4 overtimes now, tied at 27 against South Williamsport. Starbuck back to throw. Looking, has to keep the football. Tacklers in pursuit. Starbuck still on his feet. Good effort by him. Short of the first down, though.
He's a gamer.
Gets to the Berwick 44-yard line.
He is a gamer. Scrambling, running, pushing his own lineman out of the way. Hey, if you're not blocking, get out of my way. Let me make something happen.
Just a sophomore. They have a number of sophomores starting on this team. This is a Dallas team much improved over a year ago. I mean, I'm not going to predict how many games they're going to win. They'll have a real tough one next week against Scranton Prep, but they'll win some games. It's a good team. Starbuck with the snap, going to keep it himself. Evan Klinger brings him down, but not before he gets the first down. Over the 45 to the 46.
I might get that quarterback out of there. You're not going to win this with under 2 minutes to go. He's carried the ball the last 3 plays, all the plays of this drive. I don't think I'd want to risk him, and I wonder if some of the decision-making's in his hands.
Slot to the left side. Starbuck drops the snap and falls on it back at the 38-yard line.
Here, he looked like he was going to take that straight ahead and run it again. Lose 7 yards on the tough snap there. Don't know if they're calling these quarterback runs by design, but he's part of the franchise there of a nice young program.
He and Lenny Kelly. Back to throw. Starbuck. LeGrand in pursuit. Starbuck fires the pass. Tipped incomplete. Tegan Wilk got the hand on it.
He went up one hand and he would have had to do an Odell Beckham to come down with it, but it was close. It was close as he interposes himself in a swarming secondary.
1:15 remaining in the game.
3rd and 17 for Dallas.
3rd and 17 for the Mountaineers. Again, a lot more competitive game this year, figured to be.
Yeah.
A year ago, Berwick rolled over the Mountaineers in week 2 at Dallas, 42-0. Slot left. Wide receiver right. 3rd and long. Starbuck back to throw. Gets the pass away, incomplete. Looking to set up a screen to Schuster, but it came up short. So 4th down and 17. See if the Mountaineers will punt here. I don't know. Starbuck goes to the sideline. Looks like they'll have a play from scrimmage with 1:11 to go. So another good effort defensively for Berwick. 10 points yielded to Hazleton area. Last week, just 7 to Dallas. And on to Wyoming area. Wyoming area leading 18-14 at the half in their game against Crestwood. Back to throw. Starbuck, he's going to be tripped up. Tripped up. Good defensive play. Tom Monaco got him low and made the sack. Monaco exchanges shoulder bumps with assistant Cody Castor, and Berwick will take a couple of snaps and put this one in the record book with their second win of this young season.
I have Berwick with 3 sacks in the course of a game. He's taking a fumble away, pulling it out of the hands of the defender. An interception by Tegan Wilt. A lot of impact plays defensively. They're going to go right to the kneel down, Jim, and I'm going to start tallying.
You can do that. 106 remaining. So good start to the season for Berwick. Remember last year, though, it was an impressive start. And then they ran into Wyoming area. And that kind of turned the season around. Lost that one. Left some doubt in the Bulldogs' mind. So they'll have that in mind when they travel to Jake Sobeski Stadium in West Pittston next Friday night. Hope you'll join us for that broadcast. Again, we'll be on the air starting with the pregame show at 6:30 here on NEPAfootball.com. One more snap by Alex Force, who was terrific tonight. And the teams will exchange handshakes. Frank Sheptock will exchange handshakes with his good friend, coaching rival, Rich Manella. The final score, Berwick 23 and Dallas 7. Got a final on that Danville score. They won in 4 overtimes over South Williamsport, 34-33. So congratulations to Jim Kaiser, head coach of the Ironmen, and his group for a big win as they christened the artificial turf at Ironman Stadium. Here, Berwick wins it 23-7. Bulldogs were razor sharp offensively in their first 2 possessions. They took the opening kickoff in this one, went 10 plays, 86 yards. Evan Klinger in from 2 yards out for the touchdown. Alex Force figured prominently in that touchdown drive. He had runs of 12 and 7 and a 34-yard pass completion to tight end Joe Norse that set up Klinger for his 2-yard run. Ken Marshman with the extra point. 7-0 Berwick, 9:12 to go in the opening quarter. Dallas had a 3 and out in their first possession. Berwick took over at the Dallas 47, put together a 9-play scoring drive, capped on a 4th and 10 play from the Dallas 25. Alex Force back to throw, hit Damon Beckhorn on the far side, and Beckhorn got to the pylon, in for the score. Marshman again with the extra point. That was with 3:41 to go in the opening quarter as Berwick extended their lead to 14-0. In the second quarter, Dallas a great opportunity. Berwick punting in their own territory, bad snap. Dallas taking over at the Bulldogs' 17-yard line. But the Berwick defense, which was very, very good for the second consecutive week, dug in there. In fact, they took over at their own 25-yard line as Dallas went backwards. Late in that second quarter, Berwick put together an impressive drive. There were back-to-back passes completed by Alex Force, 23 yards to Jared Watts, followed by a 40-yarder to Damon Beckhorn. And Beckhorn very nearly got into the end zone, tripped up at the 1. But then a 5-yard penalty against the Bulldogs. And with 4 seconds to go, Ken Marshman kicked the short field goal to give the Bulldogs a 17-0 lead at the half. In the third quarter, Dallas's defense did a great job, shut out Berwick in the quarter, and the only scoring came from the Mountaineers. an 11-play, 64-yard drive, capped on a 2-yard run by Lenny Kelly on a 4th down play. Big plays along the way, a 23-yard pass completion from Michael Starbuck to Luke Delgadio, and an 11-yard run by Lenny Kelly. Coming on to kick the extra point was Nate Moransky. So Dallas had a chance. 9:02 still to go in the third quarter, and Berwick led 17-7. But Dallas would not get close again, and Berwick put it away. Tegan Wilk with an interception at midfield. That led to a 10-play, 50-yard scoring drive. Owen Shoemaker was the workhorse of that drive. He had runs of 12 and 10 yards, and he capped it with a 2-yard touchdown run with just 3:04 to go. Ken Marshman kicked the extra point. That would be all the scoring in the game as Berwick wins. The final score, Berwick 23 and Dallas 7. The Bulldogs gathered around head coach Frank Sheptock. Down below us, we had one correction on that Danville South Williamsport game. Went into just one overtime, but Danville winning it 34-33. The other final that we had for you was Southern Columbia winning over Bloomsburg by a score of 49-0. Here is a win for Berwick, 23-7. Stats in tonight's game, Andy Ulickney.
Well, Berwick commands the stat sheet, Jim. 335 yards in total offense. They held Dallas to 120. Frank Sheptock wanted to see improvement in the number of snaps he got offensively. He only had 51 snaps in the Hazleton game. He got off 64 offensive plays plus the kicking plays as well, 5 or so of those. So 69 or 70 snaps that you would count. He's getting the up-tempo that he likes to see, and the up-tempo certainly has helped the team. I want to start with the defensive effort because I thought it was very impressive. Lenny Kelly, a strong running back. At halftime, he had 4 carries for -2 yards. He will finish with 13 carries for 46. Coming off a 206-yard game last week. He had a 200-yard game last season. Berwick holds him to 46. I would strategize and game plan and use him a little bit more. I don't know the individual. I don't know, what level of exhaustion or durability or if there was some injury. But I like his talents. I like when they went high. He scored the touchdown that mattered. I thought they looked a little bit better, but they were much more reliant on the quarterback, Michael Starbuck. Starbuck ran 13 times, the same as Lenny Kelly, for 20 yards. Berwick did sack him 3 times, which factors in. David Schuster, the fullback, 1 carry for 2 yards. I'm going to have the team lose 7 yards on a bad snap to the quarterback. So a net of 61 yards on 28 rushes for a team that had 228 yards rushing last week. 61 yards this week in the running game. Passing, quarterback Michael Starbuck, 7 of 20 with an interception. Tegan Wilk enjoyed that one. Almost had another. 59 yards in the air. Luke Delgadio, a 23-yard catch. Jack Farrell, 2 first-half catches for 18 yards. David Schuster, a couple swing passes coming out of the backfield, 2 for 13 for him. Christian Motley started the game with a catch that was stuffed at the line of scrimmage. And it was Matt Moratsky with that one in the second half, a 5-yarder. As I checked on his number later, offensively he was playing. In all, 5 different receivers, 13 receptions and 24 attempts, 180. Oh, I'm looking at Berwick. 7 of 20. Oh my, is that a mistake? 7 receptions, 20 attempts, 1 interception, and 59 yards in the air. 59 in the air, 61 on the ground is balanced, but not enough on any side of the ledger there. Add him up 120 yards. Berwick gave up defensively, and a wonderful effort there. Forced a fumble, took one right out of the quarterback's hands, pulling it away on a running play. an interception, some good hitting, some key play. Looking at Berwick compared to the 120 yards they gave up to Dallas, they amassed 330. 150 on the ground, 185 in the air. That's a wonderful balance. Looking at the running game, Evan Klinger, you expect him to do well, even though he's playing both ways and cramping up. He did play well. 17 carries, 71 yards. Owen Shoemaker at halftime had 1 carry, 1 yard. Actually, it was minus 1 yard. He finishes the game with 13 carries and 61 yards, amassing almost all of that in the second half, all the positive yardage. And he was a workhorse when Klinger was hurt a little bit with cramps and suffering. He carried the team on his back in the final drive. Damon Beckhorn tried a reverse, got 9 on 1, tried another reverse, then reversed, and then reversed, and wow, he lost yardage. I put minus 20 altogether for his stats on 2, but check the newspapers on that one. He lost a lot, and then a penalty on top of it set the team back. Team with a couple of kneel downs, and then Alex Force, I have him with 6 carries for 40 yards, all in the first half. 1 more in the second half, gained nothing. But he looked very adept at the running game, the nice finesse game that he has. So on the ground, a net of 150 yards on the ground. In the air, I have Alex Forrest as 13 completes and 24 attempts, no interceptions, 185 yards. Damon Beckhorn was the stud. In the first half, he got all his yardage. He had 7 catches for 93. He caught 1 in the second half, and they knocked him back a yard. So he finishes with 8 catches, but 92 yards. Devin Knorr, nice one, crossing the field near the sideline, a 10-yarder. His Force rolled to the left and spit it out to him. Give 1-2 to Jared Watts, 2 catches for 33 yards. Justin Robin officially gets the catch, 1 catch for 16. And Joe Norris in the first half, released from tight end, 34 yards down the middle for him. 185 in the air, 150 on the ground, 335 in total yardage on 64 offensive snaps.
Great job by the Bulldogs, and offensively they were terrific with the quarterback, Alex Force, who I thought coming into the season was just going to be a player who just manages the game, but instead of managing the game, he has been the offensive star for Berwick through these first 2 weeks. Berwick with the win goes to 2-0. They'll be on the road at Wyoming area next Friday night. We'll be on the NEPA.com website, streaming it your way, starting with the pregame show at 6:30. For Dallas, they fall to 1-1. They'll be home for a 7 o'clock kickoff against Scranton Prep next week. I'd like to thank a number of people. First of all, our score gatherers, Linda Hamadi, Todd Davis, Roy Dennis, and the IT man here at Berwick High School, Steve Christian, for helping us in our setup here tonight. That final again, Berwick 23 and Dallas 7. For Andy Lichting, this is Jim Doyle reminding you you've been listening to Berwick Football on NEPAfootball.com.